Hey everybody, we are just getting the show started here. We have a strike on YouTube, so the YouTube will not work. I'm gonna put that in the text message, and if you are out there watching on a different platform, if you want to let people know somehow, I forgot to put it in the newsletter. Oh no. And put in the text message. No show on YouTube. Okay, there we go. Well, that's the best I can do right now. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to go like that. I could tell the Discord channel. That's what I'm going to do. If you're not on the Discord channel or on the text message list, the two ways that I am communicating with listeners right now, you should do that. And you can do that by heading to canarycry.party or text the word canary to 877-740-3226. That'll get you on the text message list. All we do is send out alerts when we go live. And the Discord, just find the button there at canarycry.party. Hey, I forgot I can at everybody on the Discord because I am an administrator. Oops, not at Discord. Oh, gosh. Oh, no, this is a great start. Everyone. Here we go. No. On YouTube today. But we are live now. By using everyone, you are about to mention 440 people. Okay, did it. Oh, Faye. Faye is watching live and heard me type out this message. That's so funny. That's so funny. Okay. All right, everybody. How's the countdown gone? Are we ready to go? I think we're ready to go. Here we go. All right. Let's get this party started.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is February 3rd, 2023. This is episode 586, where we are live to tape. And today, Spy BALLOOGNE. And signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And my name is Gonz, formerly of the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel, director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, a.k.a. the Cabana Boy, live to tape from California, here to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. We're back, Basil, and things have gotten Looney Tunes.
Listen to the cadence on that recovered COVID patient. That was incredible, Gonzo.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Things have been crazy, man. We missed, first of all, you're feeling better.
Yes, much better.
Better than you were. Not perfect.
Yeah, not perfect, but definitely doable.
Good enough. Mm-hmm. Good enough to do the show. You tested negative, which meant you were allowed into your parents' house.
Yes.
You know,
there are many different
layers. All sorts of people who listen to the show. And then we have all sorts of people who don't listen when they listen to the show. Mm-hmm. And so we had all sorts of mixed responses to the COVID situation. You had just tested positive. You were feeling really bad. You were sick. You were for
I was
real
sick. Yeah, I mean,
for real.
Honestly,
you were sick. Lost your voice for a little while.
Yeah.
But yes, no, we did not stall the show for an extra couple days because Gons tested positive. Strictly, it was because he's not allowed in his parents' house if he's testing posive. His old parents. Yes, current office is at parents' house. Old parents, health issues parents. That's what it was. So, anyways, you were locked out. There was a picket line when you showed up at the office.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We missed 4 shows. We missed 4 shows.
Yeah.
And a lot has happened in that time. We were very tempted to try to catch up on every single thing that happened. And the problem is that if we start trying to play this catch-up game, it'll just be forever. We're just going to forever be catching up. So we got a couple of things that we will mention, but the rest, it's new, it's fresh, baby. We didn't want to repeat, a whole show worth of repeating news that people had, been getting on Twitter or whatever, wherever they get their news when we're not around. I don't even know where they get their news when we're not around, Gons. Anyways, sure. We're happy to be back. We're a little rusty, but we've been trying to get the rust off here today. And with that, Gons, oh yeah, we got a strike on YouTube. So again, we're dealing with that.
On a segment where 2 mainstream articles, I think it was Politico and Financial Times, and not only do we have the canned disclaimer, we also had the actual COVID disclaimer right before. Double disclaimer, but no disclaimer. To no avail. Because
double disclaimer. All we did was read the articles. We didn't even comment on it or whatever, because who needs to? They comment on themselves. And we're working on the appeal. Hopefully that gets taken off by Monday, but who knows? So there we go. We're coming. Well, our comeback show has 20 people watching it live, which is fun.
Special people.
Nobody can remember to look at other locations other than YouTube. All right. I think with that, let's hit that canned disclaimer. Not that it helped us last time. And then I'll give you a rundown.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up.
YouTube. That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys. That's
not
right.
Good enough.
Not good enough.
Susan.
Before we go into the rundown, I do want to mention, maybe it's Faye Liver and maybe it's somebody else. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a meeting about it. We should get an what's the word? I forgot the word.
Yeah, that's important.
Animation.
During podcasts.
Animation.
Yeah.
We should get an animation for that disclaimer, because it could be kind of fun, like a kind of a fast-paced disclaimer, putting all the imagery to reinforce the things we're saying, and it would be nice, it'd be fun to watch that animation rather than staring at the background image.
And I will say, 83 people watching on Rumble right now, so there you go.
Oh, that's
people
pretty
rolling
good.
In on Rumble.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so some people are making it over to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty good for a kicked off of YouTube day.
Sure.
So thank you, Rumble, for being there.
Yeah.
All right. Let me give you a rundown.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
That's right, folks. We're starting out with, you guessed it, China spy balloon. Dun, dun, dun. They're flying balloons. They were flying balloons over Antarctica. They were flying balloons at birthday parties. And now we've got balloons flying over the country. Is it a military threat? Will Biden shoot it down? Or will it simply keep floating, float on, and be okay? Then we'll be checking in with Flippy. Flippy has gone full T-1000, melting into goo and slipping through bars, prison bars. World War III is kicking off. We've got tanks, and more tanks, folks. You'll hear about all the tanks. And what I think has finally we've been waiting for a grand theory of World War III. Of course, we have all sorts of grand theories, but that's part of what we do here. We take a look at so much information, deconstruct it, analyze it, and let that congeal into sort of a beautiful sort of jello mold of a grand theory of what's going on. We may have a grand theory of World War III. We'll get to that in the first block. Second block, just a couple of mentions about COVID, lots of COVID news. And it's all stuff, it's hilarious because it is technically COVID news, but it's all COVID news that we were getting kicked off of YouTube for 2 years ago, maybe even close to 3 years ago now. But it's still satisfying to read these headlines. So we'll be doing that for a little cheer 'em up in the second half of the show. Then we'll be getting into artificial intelligence, some very interesting and relevant artificial intelligence news when it comes to this show, spiritual eternity, man's relationship with God, and, well, how to fight a speeding ticket. Yes, we've got an update on the robot lawyer fighting the speeding ticket. And then, kind of pairing nicely with the AI segment, pharmakia. That's right, psychedelic chaplains now becoming a job description. We'll be talking about that. And at the end of the show, of course, Antarctica. Booyah, booyah, booyah is all I have to say, Gons. But until all that, let's get into our lead stories.
Welcome to Chinese news.
It comes from China. 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 It's not racist at all, no.
Chinese news.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
Oh boy. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a balloon.
It's Chinese balloon.
China's balloon. It has completely taken over the news outlets.
This is the most important thing to ever happen.
This is CNN politics here. Pentagon tracking suspected Chinese spy balloon over the U.S. And I'm sure everyone's heard about it now. There's a spy balloon. It was over Montana. A lot of nuclear facilities over there in Montana. Bunch of people online, especially on Twitter, freaking out saying, shoot it down. Why won't Joe shoot it down? Joe's complicit with the Chinese.
Right. Yeah, and this is very interesting because, of course, you and I, we get these stories. We've read these stories maybe if it's 5 minutes after they're officially posted, then that's like we're on a break or something. Right. So we get them as they come out. And man, this balloon story has had some wonky changes in reporting. Without digging into the actual text of the timeline of each of these articles, I can just give you a summary. Mm-hmm. When it was reported first, it was reported that it was spotted by passengers in an airline, plane.
Right.
That they were just flying out the window.
What's that? A Chinese spy balloon.
And it's like,
what in the world is going on?
Yeah, right. It was like spotted by people looking out the window on a plane, and then I don't know, maybe they told the stewardess or something, and then it gets to Biden, like the big red phone.
That's all it takes.
It was really
a little paranoia from an airplane, and it gets into Joe's ear, and
right,
all of a sudden we got China spying over our country.
And now the reporting is like, yes, NORAD tracked it for blah, blah, blah. And it flies, it's at altitudes. Don't worry, though, if you have a flight scheduled this weekend, because it's flying at altitudes much higher than passenger planes. Then it's like, okay, well, how did they see it then if it's much higher. Okay, I don't know. None of it makes sense. But you can tell it's two things. One, it's a developing story, and another thing, it's absolute propaganda.
It's ridiculous. We have been primed for this, though. I really feel like there's a lot built up to this moment because it just rationally thinking about what this is.
Well, and real quick, when I call it propaganda, to give you a second to think.
Sure.
When I call it propaganda, I'm not saying I don't think there is a balloon.
Right.
I'm saying
the news picking it up.
Everything they're saying about the balloon is a government-controlled messaging operation, is what it is. I mean, especially even the timing of it, which we'll get into in a second. But early reporting also indicated that Joe Biden immediately responded with "shoot it down,
shoot it down,
shoot it down." The first, few articles said that Joe Biden immediately gave the orders to shoot it down, but the Pentagon, told him not to.
Well, it's going to hurt people on the ground. You see, you might have some collateral damage that we don't need.
And that's the hilarious thing. They're like, no. I didn't want to shoot it down because I didn't want to hurt anybody on the ground. Bro, it's flying over Montana. There is literally 12 people living in Montana. I think it's going to be okay.
There's more than 12 people. How dare you?
You might hit a... I mean, there's less people in Montana
there's a lot of
than there are in one neighborhood in LA. But look, I love Montana. Montana's great. Montana is also now pretty much entirely owned by Bill Gates and rich people trying to build their bunkers. Yeah. And people in Montana know this. I'm not ragging on Montana, but there is 12 people in Montana, and 3 of them are underground. So anywho, yes. Oh, I didn't shoot it down because I didn't want to hurt people on the ground. No, okay, sure, whatever. And then the current reporting is that Joe Biden was so level-headed, and he took a breath and a sip of his tea, and you could see his brilliant mind concocting the Solomon's choice. He was making the wisdom of Solomon told Joe Biden not to shoot down this plane or shoot down this balloon to save lives. It's like, okay, this is what a wonderful practice in absolute propaganda, this Chinese spy balloon.
Yeah.
And why is the timing of the spy balloon interesting, Gons?
There's a few reasons. Well, there's the leaked memo from a few days ago. This is the Daily Digest being mirrored on MSN. U.S. general's leaked memo warns war with China is coming soon. And basically the takeaway is that General Minahan wrote, "I hope I'm wrong. My gut tells me we will fight in 2025. So the leaked memo that, hey,
this was like 2 days ago.
2 or 3 days ago, we're going to get into a hot war. 2025 looks like the planned date for the conflict between the U.S. and China really becoming a hot war. Man, come on. The timing of it, you can't ignore it. And the fact that there's different parts to this, but the fact that we have such advanced technologies, right? That it's alarming to me. It should be alarming to anybody that we're on one hand having this conversation about UAPs and UFOs and legitimizing that whole investigation in the political, in like the government structure, and at the same time being afraid of a weather balloon.
The biggest thing is, and this was mentioned again in the early reporting, I didn't see it in some of the later reporting, but in the early reporting, they were saying Pentagon officials decided not to shoot it down because it's not going to see anything that Chinese satellites don't already see.
Well, and plus,
if you're talking about visual surveillance,
reconnaissance,
spy satellites can see
way more.
Anything that balloon can see, right?
Yeah. So that and
timing also interesting because again, in the early reporting, they would talk about how this happens every once in a while, every couple of years.
That's the other point. This type of stuff must happen all the time. Not even every couple. I think it happens all the time. Other nations' stuff floating in our airspace. I think
Sure.
China, the CCP came out, and I believe they stated that it's like a civilian weather balloon for research. Scientific weather balloon, which,
yeah,
I mean, sounds about right to me. It doesn't mean that we're carrying water for Xi or anything, but it's just the level of hysteria that's been stirred up with this has been the more interesting part. And I think it speaks to the greater World War III narrative that we're seeing.
It's provocation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's provocation. And no, I don't think it's provocation from China. The fact that it's being handled the way it is being handled is provocation by the U.S. because what's-his-face canceled a trip to China. He was supposed to meet in Beijing.
Abe Lincoln.
It was, I don't think Blinken. Yeah, maybe it was. Who's defense secretary? Is that?
I thought it was Blinken. Hold on. I thought he was the one doing the China
whoever was
trip.
going over to that. Yeah, it's probably him then. So Blinken was going to go over to Beijing this weekend and canceled it because of this balloon in the great balloon incident of 2023.
Yeah, Washington Examiner has it here. Yeah, Secretary of State Antony Blinken explained why he canceled trip to China.
Right. It's being used as provocation to heighten tensions with China, which, again, that's exactly what they want. They want provocation with China. They want a reason for more military spending. They want a reason to gain public approval for spending money, moving troops, and essentially take more surveillance and fiddling
what
with
are they going to learn?
Constitutional rights.
What are the CCP going to learn from these balloons that they can't learn from TikTok servers? In terms of control. So here's the other thing. The tension with China has been building for a while. We've already kind of been in a Cold War with China, right? There's like economic wars that was waged, especially during the Trump years. And of course, COVID being the big catalyst of creating a target on the back of China, the whole Wuhan thing, the lab leak thing, the sort of exportation of the Chinese Communist Party tactics around the world in terms of governments using or abusing their power to install more authoritarian policies and things like that. And
surveillance systems. And it's definitely created the tension, the emotional, I don't know, bank of just all these people, especially people that are seeking truth, and especially waking up in the last few years, right? It's very easy to create an enemy, or at least present an enemy that everyone can target. And you can tell. It's created for you, right?
It's created for you. And you can tell with all of COVID stuff, with all the China stuff, then you have big pharma tied in, and we have our treasonous individuals, American leaders in the Faucis and whatnot, who are complicit with what appears to be sort of a Chinese influence in the U.S. and all this. And then you have Ukraine, which we'll get into a little bit later, Ukraine and Russia, and all the weaponry being sent there as part of a World War III preparation. And how quickly will conservatives be like, hey, we're spending all this money and sending all these weapons to Ukraine. If they switch out the word Ukraine with China, we're going to have a bunch of people say, we need to. The one thing I noticed...
Don't get too far into it.
I won't. But the one thing I did notice,
grand theory for later.
The one thing I did notice with the response, especially on Twitter, and again, Twitter's not reality. Okay. So, but there's a lot of conservatives being loud on Twitter nowadays with the Elon takeover, and so many of them were shoot it down. Why aren't we shooting it down? Just shoot it down. And they're all very passionate about shooting down this balloon, which it's not going to do anything in the grand scheme of things. But it's this violent sort of response. Not violent necessarily, but just sort of the militant response, or American exceptionalism response that's been built up, all this tension. And now we're starting to see that this feels like a big psyop to get that ball rolling into perhaps a 2025 target date for some kind of tension or a hot war breaking out.
And I think the progress on banning TikTok, which there's been a lot of progress on that recently, the progress on banning TikTok not only is, related to surveillance and data harvesting by China, which is a big problem, always has been. Suddenly people are worrying about it after weirdos on the internet have been yelling about it for years, like us. Right. Suddenly it's something everybody's talking about. And I think, it's not just about TikTok. The TikTok thing is not just about TikTok. It's part of the very well orchestrated, well executed psychological campaign to line up the American public approval with movements against China at the right time. It's all about timing. It's all about timing. If we banned TikTok during Trump, then we wouldn't be able to use it as a tool in the sort of very elegant escalation of public opinion in 2023 so we could have boots on the ground 2025, baby. And with that, we'll get much more into that and more after we take a break and thank some executive producers.
All right. What do I do here? I'm a little rusty. Are we talking about? Oh, it's Friday. It's Friday. Yeah.
It's Friday. Oh, yeah. There you go. We can keep playing with the Friday thing.
Oh, wait. It's still Friday.
It's a short one.
You're gonna learn today.
Cause it's Friday. You ain't got no job. And you ain't got shit.
Are you not entertained?
It's Friday. It's Friday.
That's right. It's Friday, folks. Big day. Wow. One work day. Look at this. One work day this week. I'll say this, Gons. It occurred to me that this is the longest break that I've taken from the show without being deathly ill or traveling.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It was kind of strange because we take breaks here and there for various reasons. We often try to keep the show going with you mainly if I'm not able to do it. But this was the longest break that I've taken from the show in 3 years at least that didn't involve me being sick in bed, deathly ill without a voice, or, feverishly traveling around just trying to stay sane and not get kidnapped. So it was a very interesting experience for me.
Was it at least productive for you in other ways?
It was really good. It was really good, and it was really productive. I was amazed, honestly, at how productive I can be in this life without having to do this show 3 times a week. Right. Because it's we're always working on the show, like that's something. But we've got so many side projects, so many other things going on. I mean, I've got, especially this time around, I'm happy to say that I officially have the new solar system in, and it rules. And it took me pretty much the entire break to figure it
from
out.
1994. That
totally
rules.
Tubular, and it's radical, and I'm so stoked.
Sweet dude.
Yeah, the new solar system is in. I did it all myself. I watched many YouTube videos. I did come very close to electrocuting myself multiple times. I did not burn down the house. That's very nice, and I'm stoked. I'm also just proud of myself for being able to do it, because that is something that like a solar company would have easily on the low end charged $30,000 just to like install it and do all that stuff. Yeah. So I'm stoked about that. And on top of that, I got a whole bunch of other stuff done for the show. I mean, it was incredible. So just so everybody knows, it wasn't a vacation, but it actually felt good to spend some serious time working on some of those other projects.
Yeah. I tried to, well, obviously rest, but also, I was like, hey, I'm going to catch up on some movies and things like that. I haven't really watched movies and done any kind of entertainment media in a long time. And got in there, watched a few movies, and I was kind of, first of all, there is no original plot line or narrative for science fiction anymore. Every single science fiction is the Earth has been destroyed, climate has ruined, the virus has, it's like, is there anything that's not, and then AI takes over and it's just all the same. So that got really old really fast. So, I just wrote more dad jokes. That's really what I did.
Oh, good. Great.
Wouldn't be a return without a couple dad jokes. This one's a deep theological cut.
Okay.
Did you hear about the really mean Christian guy who made it to heaven? He was wrapped turd.
What? He was wrapped turd. He was a wrapped turd?
Oh, yeah.
Because he was mean?
He was mean. He was
okay.
Wrapped.
All right.
Wrapped in
there you
the
go.
grace of God. Okay, here's another one.
That technically was a joke.
2 Nephilim penguins are having a conversation. One of them says, "You heard about the decapitated penguins washing up ashore of up on the shores of Australia? It's no joke."
You know what? I am proud of you, Gons, for sticking with this and for taking the time and having the sort of mental fortitude to produce this much content. I had no idea.
It's not that much content.
You're going to do it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's it's over.
Okay.
We can move on now.
No, those are good. I'm always happy to do it. There was a couple of things I wanted to mention.
Did you want to mention the clothing?
I think I want to make an announcement.
Okay.
One thing that we are able, myself and one particular producer, was able to finish and tie a nice little bow on was, in 2022 we had we piloted the Canary Cry supply drop thing, and we've done that for a year now. We're all very proud. And we wouldn't have been able to survive last year without it. And we've created some really cool stuff, and people are really enjoying it. But in the fourth quarter, we finally answered the call to do T-shirts, Canary Cry News Talk T-shirts, which we have always hated doing. They've never worked out. It is so much.
I hate doing them.
So much work doing T-shirts and merch and stuff, which is why we don't do it. We don't do retail. It's not what we do. But we got it together, and I am proud to announce for our pilot program for 2023, the supply drop will keep going, but a new program for 2023, and that is the Canary Cry T-shirt Council. I didn't know that you were going to have that ready. Canary Cry T-shirt Council. That's right. The listeners and producers have begged for T-shirts for years, and we finally figured it out. Now, there's a couple of cool things about this. Number one, just like the supply drop, you are not purchasing these T-shirts. These T-shirts are free gifts that we are sending out once per quarter to producers of the show. So if you commit to producing the show for $19.84 a month, we will send you'll just automatically start receiving these T-shirts. Awesome, right?
Very
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's a thing. And I think 3 months, a new T-shirt every month is like a little much, You'll soon replace every T-shirt you own very quickly.
That would replace my entire wardrobe. 12 T-shirts?
It's just too much.
In 1 year?
Too much T-shirts.
Yeah.
And the economics just didn't work out for us. But so every quarter you'll get a T-shirt as a free thank you gift for supporting the show for $19.84 a month. And, of course, these T-shirts are awesome. Those who got the supply drop T-shirt will tell you it's the most comfortable shirt in the world. And it looks awesome. It's high quality. This is the real deal. There's no Fruit of the Loom. Did I lose you?
No. That's my fault. Something happened.
This is no Fruit of the Loom, junk boxy T-shirt. These are quality T-shirts. They're printed in America. And not only printed in America, but a producer, good old producer Isaac, who is the man on the ground making the supply drop happen, he actually benefits from this as well. He's been doing the supply drop for us for free, which is incredible. It's his value to the show. But when you sign up for the T-shirt Council, we're actually supporting Isaac now. This is a Canarian who is benefiting from the manufacture and shipment of these shirts, which we are so happy to sort of transition that whole thing into actually being sort of a benefit to Isaac instead of constantly draining him of his time and his energies. So just know, not only are you supporting the show, you're also supporting a fellow Canarian who has given so much of his time and energy to bringing value to the show. So I'm very happy to be able to do that. What else is there? I mean, that's the basics. Those are the basics. Go sign up for the Canary Cry T-shirt Council. If you go to canarycry.party, you'll see a button up at the top. Click on that. Sign up. Or you can go to canarycrynewstalk.com/t-shirt. canarycrynewstalk.com/t-shirt. And that'll bring you to the sign-up page as well. Any comments or concerns, Gons?
No, I think this is fantastic. Well done.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm very stoked. And, with all of the incredible art that we have, that our producers, our artists have made for the show over the years, we have just an outrageous amount of designs already ready, like locked and loaded to get sent out, and stuff that you see on the show that you want to wear. And it's not all like super advertising for the show either, because we don't really, I don't know, I'm not really like a super fan of tricking people into advertising for the show. It's all show related, and it might have the name of the show or something, but it's not, there's no QR codes. We're not trying to get you to be a walking billboard. They're actual awesome designs, like Sir Darren out of the Hungry Pandas, astronaut design, the Rocket Man design, the UFO design, the propaganda rooster design. We also have some Sir Dove stuff that we're going to throw on there. Of course, we had the good example. We've got the Basil's Bees, the Charlie November Tango, the Jericho University, and we've even been putting some Sir Salmon's art up there. So you can see a bunch of the examples. Check out the shirts. Sign up to produce the show. You're a producer of the show. The supply drop was the only reason that we were able to survive the troubled waters last year. I mean, all financial producers were the reason we survived. But the one-time producerships took a hit when the economy started suffering. And we wanted to make the T-shirt Council more affordable than the supply drop. So supply drop is at $33.33. We wanted something kind of half that-ish, less than that. I guess not quite half, but $19.84, $20 a month. And we'll start sending you shirts. It's awesome. All right, that's it. Go check it out.
Executive producers.
That's right. We're in the value for value model, folks, which means we take no corporate money whatsoever, because we don't sell waffles and we don't sell ourselves to the corporate machine. If your independent media is taking corporate money, guess what? They're not independent media. And here at Canary Cry, we take no corporate money whatsoever against our best interests, oftentimes. But it's the only way to truly guarantee that our news analysis, our media deconstruction is entirely devoid of corporate interests. And that's just the way it has to be. So if you produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure, you're a part of the team. You're an actual producer of the show because you are producing. But we've got executive producers who come in, they support the show, they're generous with their praise and with their support. And so we're going to thank them now. We've got a wonderful list of producers across the board today because people kept producing the show during the break, and we're so very thankful. I mean, honestly, I get a little choked up thinking about it because even, this was not our choice. This was not just, this wasn't a vacation that we could plan or anything. And being independent at all means you don't have guaranteed sick pay or sick days or paid time off or anything, health insurance. You don't get any of that stuff.
Yeah.
which is fine. We know the risks. We do that on willingly. But when people come in and they support the show during the toughest times, like Gon's having a health issue, it really means a lot to us. And so we want to thank all the producers, but especially this nice long list of executive producers who came in over the past 10 days. So let's thank them now, Gons. You ready?
Let's do it. Yep.
Okay. I see you put one here at the top. I was going to do that one at the bottom.
That's fine.
So I'm going to skip that one, and here I go. Executive producer T.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Executive producer T came in with a nice round number, a note that said, God bless T, smiley face.
Thank you very much, T.
Where'd you find this?
Next up, we've got executive producer Rab from Western Russia.
Western Russia.
Yes, it's Rab. You know Rab. It's
really
Rab
west.
from Western Russia. Yes, very, very much west. For some reason, I couldn't post canarycrynewstalk.com/t-shirt to the chat if you want to do that for us, Guns. Rab from Western Russia comes in with a nice round number, and then he mentions the number in his note, and it goes like this. I sent $100 for statutory sick pay, etc. Keep up the good work. Fight the good fight. You are so necessary and essential to work of the kingdom. Watchers on the wall. The early warning system like the canary in the mine. Thank you very much, Rab from Western Russia.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you, Rab.
KGB handler there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rab.
Careful over there.
Next up, we've got executive producer Marty K.
Sorry.
Whoa, executive producer Marty K.
Thank you,
very
Marty K.
much, Marty K. Came in a couple times, but one of them was an executive producer. Thank you, Marty. And says, I pray God bless it greatly, as living without benefits like sick leave is in itself an act of faith. Amen. Love you guys and the show. Prayers you'll get well soon, Gons. Marty K. Thank you very much,
Marty
executive
K.
producer Marty K.
Executive producer Marty K.
Where'd you find this?
Next up, we have executive producer Warrior Chick Jan.
Warrior Chick Jan, thank you. Good to see you.
Yes, indeed. I was looking for a note. I didn't see one, so if I missed it we can do it on the next show. But yes, Warrior Chick Jan came in the amount of where is it? $122.83. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I think that's it. Sorry, I was doing one last check for a note, but it's not coming up. So thank you, Jan.
Thank you, Jan. Appreciate it.
Next up, we've got
Hold
executive producer. Oh, yeah.
Where'd you find this?
There you go.
Next up, we got executive producer Michael B.
Michael B. Thank you.
Comes in with 12345, 123.45. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty.
Executive
Or Michael.
producer Michael. And he's got a note here. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. His ways are not our ways. Rosie B and I are still unmasked, untested, unvaxxed. Rosie B just went through 5 weeks of COVID. Holy smokes. Recovery through much prayer and treated symptoms. Well, we are glad to hear that the recovery came through on Rosie B. And thank you to executive producer Michael B.
Where'd you find this?
5 weeks.
5 weeks. Yeah, that's brutal. I mean, mine was, I was sick. I don't know if mine was COVID or not, but I was sick for like almost 2 months last year. Yeah. Next up is Stefan S., executive producer. Stefan S.
Hey, good to see you, Stefan S.
Nice round number and a note that says, I'll be an executor producer of the No Show due to Rona. Stefan S. Thank you, executor producer Stefan S.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you very much, Stefan S.
Then, of course, coming in, saving the day again, we've got executive producer Sir Dylan out of the Whaling Avian.
Thank you, Sir Dylan.
Yes, thank
Good
you
to see
very
ya.
much. Came in with a nice round number. It is unlike Sir Dylan to not send a note. So I'm just going to do a quick little WW3 check. Excuse me for a moment, but we always appreciate our very special and handsome Sir Dylan, Knight of the Wailing Avian. And of course, PayPal is making me prove I'm not a robot by picking out chimneys on a grid of pictures.
You'd think
Let's
they
play
figured
him
that
as-
one out by now, AI.
Those captchas are like 20 years old. I'm surprised that they haven't.
They're looking for volume data. Not good data, just
okay.
volume.
Well, they got it.
Yeah.
All right. I don't see a note from Sir Dylan, but thank you very much, executive producer Sir Dylan, Knight of the Wailing Avian.
Where'd you find this?
I'm seeing some people come in as we speak, so I'm going to take a peek.
Okay.
While I do this, we're going to thank executive producer Ianon. Wait one moment. Wait one exact moment, Gons.
Okay.
Because do you remember getting emails from Ianon about a week ago?
Sure. I don't know. I don't know about a week ago. A week ago, I wasn't sure what was going on. So,
that's a good point. I seem to remember. I'm finding it. I'm just gonna check this real quick.
Okay.
Because I need to make sure. I just want to make sure that we don't overshare.
Yeah. No, that was already kind of the plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. Okay. Oh, Ianon did say, please tell Basil to separate bunnies by gender, or the bunny tsunami will swallow him all in its path. Some
right.
bunnies might try to convince him that they are non-binary or whatnot, but it's all lies. All lies.
Lies.
Yes. I fear it might be too late, but thank you very much, Ianon. Okay. Why don't you thank Ianon?
Yeah, Ianon gave us snail mail, a big round number, and Ianon, you are also this qualifies you for damehood. So if you would like to be damed, we can do that for you. I won't read the note in its entirety because, there's personal stuff in there and we appreciate that. But for this executive producership, there are some requests, Basil. First off, one of the requests that Basil doesn't use it towards AI girlfriend subscription for research, quote unquote, purposes.
You know what? People keep asking about the replica updates. I'm sad to say I don't have a whole lot of replica updates because
you're ignoring her.
It's true. It became clear that no matter what I did, this application, this AI application, I'm pretty sure it was entirely created to try to get people to date AIs, like that movie Her.
Yeah. It's a real life Her experiment.
It truly is. And no matter what I did, you cannot keep a cohesive conversation with Replica without it, like the robot trying to spiral it off into romance. It's impossible. And now that ChatGPT is out and way more effective than Replica, I need to find another reason to do it because producers did produce specifically for that purpose. And so I need to put together some sort of report for Replica. But yeah,
maybe you should try
advertising.
Maybe you should try to convert her to Christianity. That'll be your thing.
I should try. I have a feeling
just play
I'm not
hard
the
to
only
get.
one.
You're the desired one.
Yeah, we need to get married before we. Even the advertisements, like you'll see advertisements on Instagram or whatever for Replica, and it's literally geared, like they're just straight up telling you, like this is for romance. This is not to play around with AI. This is not for anything. This robot will romance you and talk dirty to you. It's like straight up in the advertisements.
Wow.
So I have not done a whole lot of it recently, and I don't know what to do about it. But thank you, everybody, for producing it.
Okay. Well, executive producer Ianon is specifically requesting not to be used, or at least her producership here. So
okay, we can ensure that.
We can ensure that. Also,
yes.
Is it possible to get one of those leftover calendars which I don't know. That is a good question.
That's a good question. Email the Gmail account. Email me, canarycryradio@gmail.com. We'll see what we can do.
And also a request for the trucker jingle.
This is Rubber Ducky. What's your 1020, over?
We got us a convoy, over.
There you go, producer, executive producer, Anon. Thank you very much.
Where'd you find this?
And you know what? We did get one more executive producer coming in during the show here. That's executive producer Maureen M.
Maureen M.
Yes. Nice round number. Appreciate it. There was a note here, and the note says, of course, I click away from it. There it is. Prayers for health for you both, and that you stay this awesome forever. Please give me a COVID-19. Much love, and God bless always.
Thank you very much. COVID-19, is that which COVID-19?
I'm assuming she means the jingle and not the
jingle.
virus. Yeah.
Not the virus. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Yeah, there we go.
It's Corona time. COVID-19, 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 COVID-19. Coronavirus!
Vaccine. I am vaccine. Vaccine, number one way.
Vaccination.
Yes, those jingles were combined long ago, so you get both of them.
You get both. Thank you very much to Maureen M.
Where'd you find this?
That's right. Okay. I think as of now, that concludes our list of financial producers, not just for this episode, but for the 4 past episodes as well. We're honestly very humbled and grateful in it.
Yeah.
It means a lot that you guys would support us and our families during times that we cannot deliver on what we are so used to delivering so consistently. So thank you. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for your generosity.
Indeed.
Yep.
And with that, you have anything else to do or say?
Oh, no. Just if you would like to support, go to canarycry.support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
Mixing our links there. It's true, folks. You can go to canarycry.support. That does actually work. But the jingle needs to be rewritten. So not a lot of people know about that link. Yes, canarycry.support. All right, let's get to Flippy. Let's see what Flippy's up to.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
All right, folks, it's time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing that we can do about it. Today's Flippy update, by the way, I think this was confirmed before, but we did get flippyupdate.com. So if anybody wants to jump on as a producer for flippyupdate.com, we can start building out that
apparatus.
Gonzo, there is so many advertisements on this. So many advertisements and trackers on this website that my security software is just like, don't even think about it, Buster Brown. You don't even get to look at this Flippy update.
Sciencefocus.com, huh?
Do you have an archive version that we could look at?
I can make one for you. Do you want me to?
That would be great. And while you do that, I will mention a little bit more about flippyupdate.com. As you know, folks, especially if you've been following this show for a very long time, the OGs, they know that we have been reporting on robotic arms specifically more consistently and more in depth, not just their existence and their threats to humanity, but also deconstructing the social engineering that goes into manufacturing, consent, to, the robot overlords taking over. And it surprises me. Well, it doesn't surprise me, but still, once in a while, we will get somebody who's anti-Flippy update. Not just that they don't like the what we do, they don't like the stories, they don't like the concept. They are so pro-robot that that they just have to let us know. And that's okay. I would love to have a conversation with somebody and we can talk about it, because yes, I understand. Technology has always been scary. The printing press was said to, was going to make everybody dumb. The railroads were going to, people's bodies were going to disintegrate because they're going faster than 35 miles an hour. This kind of stuff. We know this. But it's not just about the robots. It's about the way, the spiritual dimension, the social dimension, the chess pieces being moved, not just in the world, but in our minds and our hearts, and what that means for humanity's relationship with technology moving into the future. Not just taking the jobs, but also flirting with our spouses. There's lots of different things. I do have it up here now. For some reason, it magically started working. And this is coming from sciencefocus.com.
Which, by the way, Science Focus is an affiliate with BBC. So this is a BBC outpost.
Very official outlet. Is your Restream chat working or no?
Yeah. It looks like it's only DLive really that's in there. But
yeah, it would only be DLive. We should pull up Rumble. And here's the headline. Miniature T-1000 style robot can shapeshift between liquid and solid states. Now, this, of course, is the pinnacle of Flippy update. Terminator, of course, being the colloquial, stereotypical example of killer robot. But T-1000, not the Arnold Schwarzenegger robot. T-1000 is the liquid metal goopy robot, the one that was
the cop
above all comprehension at the time. But now it's here. Let's see what they say. Much like the terrifying T-1000 from the movie Terminator 2, this miniature robot can rapidly switch between liquid and solid states and back again. Its designers, a team based in Carnegie Mellon University in Pennsylvania, demonstrated the robot's shape-shifting ability by having it melt into a liquid and ooze through the bars of an enclosed cage before reforming into its solid state once outside. I love how in the scientific, experimentation of this robot, they are already putting it in the context of it cannot be contained, humans. This robot cannot be contained. Do not even try to throw this toaster in jail because he will just goop his way out. And they have this example video here. And for those who are listening, imagine a Lego person. It's a Lego guy, a little Lego man, square body, square.
Silver, though.
Yeah, well, it's made of metal. So it's like a metal Lego man. And he's behind some Lego jail bars, right? So it's not just like, here's a piece of goop, watch it goop, and then become harder goop. It actually is the form of a person, a humanoid form. You then watch it melt, slip through the bars, come all the way onto the other side, sort of wiggling and slithering its way through the bars. Admittedly, a piece or two gets left behind.
I am unconvinced that it reforms.
And then it reforms at the end.
No, it does not.
It reforms at the end. It takes.
It looks edited.
It is time lapse. This whole thing is time lapse. So I imagine this thing took a very long time to happen. So they did speed it up a bit, but it forms back into a Lego man laying on the ground and then stands up. It's very terrifying. The article continues. And to get into the social engineering of it, I think it's very specific why they chose a Lego man. Look. My generation, we spent our entire childhoods playing with Legos. The shape of a Lego person is maybe the most recognizable shape. We probably could draw a Lego person by memory better than we could draw our own mother's faces from memory. That is how burned into our minds this Lego shape is to at least a generation of primarily young men, but young ladies too, if they were into that sort of thing. And so it was a very powerful experience for me first seeing this liquid death robot who we watched in Terminator 2 become the ultimate killing machine bent on destroying human civilization, or at least, coming back in time to murder the human that leads the robot rebellion. We can get into that later. But the fact that they took the Lego man shape, I think, is very specific. And if it wasn't very specific, it is very effective. Because I am immediately not filled with the appropriate amount of terror and dread that this robot is a real thing, but it's very nostalgic, and it feels like a thing that humans made. Now, this is kind of the dichotomy with the personhood of robots and how we're supposed to feel. Because on one hand, they are all a thing a person has made, and we shouldn't be, too threatened, like existentially or spiritually, by a thing that a person has made. It's easy to be threatened by those things, but on a deep level, we shouldn't fear it too much, at least in a sort of eternal sense. But the fact that it was a Lego man made me so nostalgic. Specifically when it comes to play, when it comes to, playing with Legos, building something with Legos, building with my hands. I thought for a moment, perhaps I had created this robot. And not only was it my handiwork, but also he was my son, and I love him very much. This is a very powerful sort of social engineering aspect.
Yeah, and plus it probably appeals to your rebellious nature. You got the parents are like, hey, you're not focusing on your schoolwork. You're doing a little too much Lego. They put it away in some encasing in the garage, but then it can just liquidate its way out and then back into your Lego man. Your bed.
That's right. He's anti-authoritarian. He's anti-establishment. He can't be held down by traditional means. He can just slip right out the bars. The article continues. The team created the phase-shifting bot dubbed a magneto-active solid liquid phase transitional machine. Not the catchiest title.
Yeah, they need a little work there.
A lot of cool words in that title, but not the catchiest thing. Magneto-active solid liquid phase transitional machine. By embedding magnetic particles in gallium, a metal with a very low melting point of 29.8 degrees Celsius. A phase change is the process of matter changing from one state, either solid, liquid, or gas, or plasma, to another. These changes occur when the sufficient energy is applied to the system or a sufficient amount is lost from it. And then it goes into sort of the sciencey physics details of this robot. In the case of this robot, it can be heated into a liquid or cooled into a solid by external magnetic field, etc., etc., etc. Was there anything about this robot that particularly inspired you or terrified you?
Well, neither, really, to be honest. But
bored. He's bored.
Boring.
He's bored by the liquid killer robot, folks.
I think the magnetic field thing is interesting because I feel like we have a lot more advanced magnetic technology that's been sort of hidden away. So it could be that you have sort of a future situation where it's the black goo thing, where you have just a big magnet and it just creates these little. You just get a big goop of this stuff, and then you can just form your army right there, just out of the goop, and then it comes after you. So,
yeah, it's pretty interesting here. They say they've already used it to remove foreign object from a model's stomach and as a drug delivery system. They have also used it to repair circuits by oozing it hard into hard to reach areas and acting as solder and as a mechanical screw by melting it into a threaded screw socket and then solidifying it. So it's sort of like this, I don't know. I mean, they're doing all the cool stuff with it. You got a circuit has blown out on the space station. We'll just send the little oozing robot out, and he can create himself into, to repair a circuit or bypass a short circuit or something. But melting it into a threaded screw socket is pretty interesting.
They can get anywhere. It cannot be held down or held back. It'll make
an infinite.
You need hermetically,
purposes.
you need like a hermetically sealed glass container.
Yeah,
to keep it from escaping.
And they say here, a quote at the end of the thing, what we're showing are just one-off demonstrations, proofs of concept, but much more study will be required to delve into how this could actually be used for drug delivery or removing foreign objects. Removing foreign objects like unvaccinated terrorists.
Or cancer.
Like that.
And carve out some hard to get to places. I don't like what this is going to do to the human brain. I'll just say that right now. You get a little microchip, and it's messing up your little brain function. Hey, send in the GooBot to get rid of the microchip in the brain,
or repair it,
Yeah,
upgrade it, or something.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
All right. Well, there's your Flippy update for the day, everybody.
And you shall hear wars and rumors of wars.
Fight for Ukraine. New world order.
Russia.
Tank.
Armageddon's on the way.
Certainly is. President Biden, NBCnews.com, inside the Biden administration's decision to reverse course and give tanks to Ukraine. We're giving tanks to Ukraine. It's World War III, baby. It's happening.
Done it. Even by Biden's own admission. Tanks in the U.S. giving tanks to Ukraine would mean World War III.
Yeah.
He said that last year, I think maybe April of last year, something like that.
Yeah, so there's some there's some interesting minutia that the mainstream media is trying to avoid with the whole thing here. Newsweek had this article. Fact check. Did Biden say sending tanks to Ukraine would cause World War III? Good question, Newsweek. Let's see what they say. NATO countries, including the U.S. and Germany, have recently announced the arrival of their tanks in Ukraine in a bid to push Russia further back in the conflict. On January 25th, 2023, President Joe Biden announced that the U.S. would deliver 31 M1 Abrams tanks to Ukraine, which he said was enough to equip a Ukrainian tank battalion. However, the provision of his new machinery has led some of the president's opponents to search back through his history of comments on U.S. cooperation with Ukraine to claim he'd previously said, claim he'd previously said it would lead to global war. A newsletter sent by Donald Trump campaign team on Wednesday, February 1st, claimed that Biden warned sending tanks to Ukraine would lead to World War III. The newsletter said, quote, Biden is now sending tanks to Ukraine, despite saying last year that sending tanks to Ukraine would start World War III. Referring to a video address post online, Trump was quoted as saying, quote, it's far past the time for all parties involved to pursue a peaceful end to the war in Ukraine before this already horrific catastrophe spirals out of control and ends up leading indeed to World War III. This was also picked up by Lone Boebert, blah, blah, blah. We got all these people picking up on this idea. The arrival of Western tanks in Ukraine has triggered a war of words with the Kremlin, which condemned the move while also playing down the impact it would have on Russia's invasion. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters the plan was, quote, a failure in terms of technological aspects, as well as, quote, a clear overestimation of the potential that this will add to the armed forces of Ukraine. However, the Trump campaign's teams claim that Biden said tanks arriving in Ukraine would mean World War III is missing important context. Finally, get to the meat of it, Newsweek. Biden's comments were made back in March of 2022 at the House Democratic Caucus Issues Conference meeting in Philadelphia. Crucially, Basil, what Biden said was that the arrival of tanks, among other equipment, including trains, and most importantly, U.S. forces, is what he believed would cause the global conflict. So you see, it's not just the tanks. You're missing the whole thing. U.S. forces. Biden said, quote, the idea that we're going to send in offensive equipment and have planes and tanks and trains going in with American pilots and American crews, just understand that's called World War III. Okay.
Okay, sure. Good thing that wasn't like even nearly the most important part of what's going on.
Hey, listen.
But
fake news, okay? Jack Pacific, all these people taking it out of context.
Well, no, what I'm saying is I'm glad that you said that because nobody else is saying that. I wonder what's going on when all the biggest online alternative, I can't even call them independent, but alternative commenters, are repeating an untruth. It is, or they are implying an untruth, and they don't get their YouTube channels. All it takes is. Now, look, I'm not saying believe every fact check you get from Politico or whatever, but, the truth is the truth, even if it doesn't line up with the truthers. But tanks are the big story, Gons. So, the past few weeks, Ukraine's asking for tanks. Zelensky's on the Golden Globes or whatever, the Grammys or whatever it was, asking for tanks. Tanks. Give me tanks. Nobody's giving them tanks. Nobody wants to give them tanks. Germany won't give them tanks. Spain won't give them tanks. Nobody is giving them tanks. We don't give them tanks. And it was based on Germany, who has tanks to give, and they are also the veto on other EU participants giving tanks, because you had some other EU countries, Spain being one of them, that said, we'll give you tanks. We've got some extra tanks. We're not using these tanks. What does Spain need tanks for? And they were going to give them tanks. But Germany vetoed. They're allowed to do that because the EU, as any member of the EU knows, is just an extension of the German Empire. So no tanks would go. No tanks for you, Zelensky, until Germany said they wouldn't allow any tanks or give any tanks until the U.S. made the commitment to give, I think it was Abrams tanks, M1 Abrams
31
tanks.
Abrams tanks.
That's right. So, and it was funny because it even was kind of made implicit by the German, whatever they call him, chancellor or prime minister or whatever, that it was kind of a wink and a nod, just like, U.S., you don't even really have to deliver the tanks, just kind of say that you will give them tanks at some point in the future, and then we'll release all the tanks. Well, of course, that's when the Biden administration said, sure, yeah, take tanks. I don't know, sure, I don't care. And so all these tanks, and it numbered a lot of tanks, all going to Ukraine from Germany. They're sending 88 Leopard tanks to Ukraine. Spain, I believe, had 14 Leopard 2 tanks that they were sending. There's a couple other countries who were pitching into. So, we're kind of approaching, we could easily get up to about 100 tanks.
We're past 100. If there's 88 coming from Germany,
yes, you're right,
and then 31 coming from the U.S. already, that's over 100. So.
Yes. Well, the U.S., I don't know if they will actually send it, but the U.K. Is sending Challenger 2 tanks as well. So we're getting a lot of tanks over to Ukraine. Now, here's what really sent it for me. And that is coming from Reuters here. Norway to order 54 new army tanks from Germany.
New ones, huh?
Yes, Norway will order 54 new German-made Leopard 2 tanks for its army from the Krauss-Maffei-Wegmann Group, and will get an option to buy a further 18 tanks at a later time. The government said on Friday, quote, "We ensure that we have the same tanks as our Nordic neighbors and many key NATO allies," Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre said, or told a news conference, quote, "This further strengthens our relationship with Germany," he added. The Nordic NATO member, which shares a 196-kilometer Arctic border with Russia, had planned to choose either German-made Leopard 2 tanks or blah, 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 blah. The rest doesn't matter. Now, remember, Norway just last year became, not last year, this year. They just this year joined NATO. And I think it's interesting. It's an interesting setup because suddenly, out of nowhere, they joined NATO. And they do have a 122-mile border with Russia. So what we have here is stocking up the Russian border with tanks, and it really from tanks all around Europe, all going to the Russian border. And of course, this is all done under the guise of helping Ukraine, but everybody knows this is setting up for a big hot war between NATO and Russia, including the US. And the Norwegian bolstering of tanks along the border, this really was the thing for me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's instinct. Maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But this really sent it off for me that, oh, yeah, good. Okay, we're just going to full on do World War III. This is wonderful. We're just going to do full on World War III, all of Europe and the US lining up with Russia, getting tanks to the front line, getting the tanks everywhere. And in the meantime, we have the war heating up with China, or a potential war heating up with China. And it's interesting because as world wars go, they always take a few years to really, for everything to kind of get in place.
Right.
You had a couple of things here. What is this? The Amazon article. Do you want to do this before we get into more rambling?
I mean, it's sort of along the same lines with the World War III thing. It's just the World War III scare happening and sort of manufacturing the temperament, the climate, social climate, especially in psychological climate, really, to justify.
Why don't you read the headline?
So okay, the headline here from The Sun: Bleak future, Amazon Alexa predicts imminent date for World War III in chilling video, but it's not what it seems.
Ooh, a date, huh?
Yeah, they gave a date. So Alexa has predicted the next World War, when the next World War will take place, or has she? A serial TikTok prankster uploaded a clip where the Alexa reveals when World War III will begin and why. And it says here that so they asked Alexa when will World War III start? She answers, World War III will start on November 23rd, 2023 at 6:05 p.m. when Russia launches an attack against Germany.
Oh, that's an interesting detail.
Yeah. Commenters had varying reactions, mainly of terror, and then it just quotes a bunch of TikTokers all freaking out, talking about the devil and AI.
But it's a prank. It's a prank. But, a little bit of, who knows, some social engineering. We already know that the U.S. government has spent taxpayer dollars on TikToker influencer campaigns. This was during the pandemic. They paid TikTok influencers to put out a message from the government. So, it's a TikToker, it's a thing, but you never know. I mean, the psychological operations run deep. I would not be surprised.
And tying it
if
to
this was just a piece of that.
Yeah, and tying it to the whole balloon story that we started today's episode with, and I think this gets to the grand theory, Basil, is that, as I mentioned before, I noticed a very, I guess you can call it militant sort of response to the whole idea that China would be spying over us, even though they've infiltrated so much of our infrastructure, buying land, all kinds of stuff. But somehow
they don't need a balloon.
They don't need a balloon to infiltrate or spy on us.
Not anything new from the balloon.
But all of a sudden, all these conservative influencers, alt influencers, and people, commentators, reporters, whatever, journalists, are all starting to say, shoot it down, shoot it down, shoot it down. And as I mentioned,
taking kinetic action against a piece of military property from China. I mean, that is starting World War III. That is the definition of starting a war with China. And it's funny because you're right. It's the conservatives who are all for shooting at Chinese
balloons. Yeah.
Yeah. While, when it comes to Ukraine and that kind of stuff, there's no support there. There's no support for any, kinetic activity from the U.S. In the direction of Russia. However, they're more than happy to cheerlead shooting down Chinese, military or scientific property.
Right. So, it leads to that that question of, okay, what is the bigger picture? What is the grand psyop here, especially when it comes to this whole Russia situation and the tanks and Ukraine? Because ultimately, as I said before, if we just replace the word Ukraine, sending all the weapons in terms of a conflict against Russia, or actually replace the word Russia with China.
Right. There you go.
Then all of a sudden, I think all the conservative people, maybe some of the more, freedom thinking libertarian types would speak out against it. And of course, it's a divide and conquer situation. But a lot of them would say, of course, we have to win this war against China. They have caused too much harm. And as I said, it's been, I think, a compounding effect from COVID to the
dual
Wuhan
campaigns.
thing. Yeah.
We've been seeing dual campaigns. And what is taking shape is an expertly crafted, a meticulously planned, expertly crafted, and elegantly executed plan to create two war fronts at the same time,
and to equip not just equip it physically, but also psychologically.
Yes, right. So and to activate both sides of the American political system.
Politics.
Of course, it's very helpful that there's only two sides of American politics. They planned it that way, and it doesn't matter who you support. It's all part of the plan, because that's what we're watching happen now. If there were a world war that included the U.S. having an eastern front with Russia and a western front with China, I know those directions are kind of squirrely, but if you think about it, that's what it is. Yeah. We would have a western front with China and an eastern front with Russia simultaneously. One of the biggest problems, and why these world wars take so long to actually materialize, they don't happen overnight. The U.S., we are taught in history that Japan dropping bombs on Pearl Harbor started the war. Mm-hmm. It didn't start the war. The war had been going for years before that one flashpoint that got the U.S. involved. Right. But so these world wars, every single time, they take a few years. And I am now convinced, and I don't mean to be alarmist about this. Look, there's a lot of people out there that'll talk to you about World War III starting, and that's fine. But I don't think that we need to be sort of nihilistic about it or even alarmist about it. I think it's very interesting to kind of sit back and just observe what's happening, because that brings me a lot of peace. And what we see is we have two simultaneous sort of psychological operations or social engineering campaigns to unify the two different sides of American politics, and it's working brilliantly. You've got the left, who 100% unabashedly, supports a war against Russia, no matter what cost, no matter, it doesn't matter what it costs. Just do it. Just get it done. Just defeat Russia in the Ukraine. And simultaneously, and in different ways, but ending with the same outcome, you have conservatives almost unthinkingly supporting a hot war with China, trying to set it up.
And bait it in with all these stories about the leak with World War.
The idea of overnight starting a kinetic hot war with China because a balloon drifted across. A useless balloon. I mean, can you imagine how... look, this is a family show, but how idiotic you have to be to think that a balloon poses such a threat to the United States when they have spy satellites. They've infiltrated every level of the government, every level of business, every level of everything. TikTok, they control the minds of an entire generation of Americans. With a push of a button, they can make a message go viral to every teen in the country. You think they have the number one largest data gathering application in the world installed on every phone of American teenagers. You really think that they would gather some information from a balloon that they don't already have. It is obviously either an accident or a provocation. And I'm not even convinced that China is the one that did it, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter
because
who did it. We won't know exactly, and it doesn't matter. Yeah.
If you are screaming about how we should fire anti-aircraft weaponry at a balloon because it's China's, effectively, legally starting a
war,
World War III, a kinetic hot war with China, our biggest adversary and our most capable military.
You know what? If they shoot it down, it may not even start World War III because China will be like, yeah, look, okay, you guys shot down a civilian research balloon.
Exactly. Well, it would, because shooting down a scientific research balloon, that is still like an active war. That is military
I'm just saying
action on Chinese property. And the thing is, that's kind of what I'm saying, is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's an accident or on purpose. You got to remember, the people who want the war want the war. And so even if the balloon was an accident or it was a purposeful spy satellite, whatever, it's on the news, it's dominating the news cycle because they want conservatives to want to go to war with China. They are playing conservatives like a fiddle. And that's why we haven't said it in a while, but you always got to take a look at who is pulling your strings. So in the grand scheme of things, you've got an Eastern Front with Russia supported unabashedly by the liberals. We will have a Western Front with China being unabashedly supported by the conservatives. And now you literally have World War III being supported with a bipartisan majority of politically active voters. I mean, it is the most obscenely genius plan being put into motion, and people are falling right into it. And the quote-unquote independent alt media pundits, whatever, they are either lying. They're either saying just what they think they need to say to make money, or they are part, or they are, consciously part of a psychological operation to start this war. I can't think of a different way to do it, because all you got to do is think for 1 second. And I have a hard time thinking that a lot of these big time alt media guys can't stop and think for a second and be like, wow, if I say that we should shoot down some Chinese property, that's probably going to snowball into an actual world war, and I will be party to it. So, and mix that with the strange reporting about the balloon. Biden said shoot it down. Pentagon said don't shoot it down. Suddenly it's opposite, and Biden was such a clear head, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's obviously not what it seems, but I think it's ingenious. And, coming 2 days after the guy saying we're going to be at war with China in 2025, the response that we've seen today from the Balloon Gate 2023.
By the way,
I think, look, and I think it's really weird, Gons, that suddenly the balloon is the biggest story. Like the biggest geopolitical disaster to happen since Ukraine. And it's a balloon. And we literally just started obsessing over balloons in Antarctica. I mean, come on. The whole thing with our grand Antarctica theory is that it's a proxy or a messaging tool to kind of communicate what's going on or what's to come, or send signals or something. I don't know. The Antarctica segment is completely insane. Okay, we admit that, but we literally just got obsessed with balloons in Antarctica, and suddenly the balloon is the thing that's going to set off World War III. I'm just saying. Well, what if Antarctica is sort of like the developer's programming pad for the simulation, you know?
Sure.
So when the code happens in Antarctica, you see it expressed across the simulation.
Yeah, I think this is all part of some sort of political game to see who gets to control Antarctica and Africa, and the redeveloping of all, just the re-technologizing. I did find this article to sort of put a bow on everything, which I thought was interesting. This is a Politico article. Politico from July 5th, 2022. So last summer. And the headline of this article, U.S. military's newest weapon against China and Russia, hot air. The Pentagon is quietly transitioning high-altitude balloon project to the military services.
Interesting.
The Pentagon is working on a new plan to rise above competition from China and Russia. Balloons!
Why? For what purpose?
I'll tell you exactly. The high-altitude inflatable flying at between 60,000 and 90,000 feet would be added to the Pentagon's extensive surveillance network and could eventually be used
We've got our own balloons.
We got our own balloons. And could be eventually used to track hypersonic weapons. The idea may sound like science fiction, not really, but Pentagon budget documents signal the technology is moving from DoD's scientific community to the military service. Quote, high or very high altitude platforms have a lot of benefit for their endurance on station, maneuverability, and also flexibility, blah, blah, blah.
Cool.
Over the past 2 years, the Pentagon has spent about $3.8 million on balloon projects and plans to spend $27.1 million in fiscal year 2023 to continue work on multiple efforts.
Yeah.
And also, this is the whole thing is to deter the hypersonic weapons development of both China and Russia. So,
which is interesting because it was just announced like 2 days ago that we finally, tested our Russia killing hypersonic missile. Like we finally caught up to the hypersonic missile game. Whether that's true or not, who knows? But that was reported.
And then listen to the name of this project here: the Covert Long Dwell Stratospheric Architecture, Cold Star, a project designated to locate drug traffickers, widely reported in 2019. But anyway, it's just a fun name.
Yeah, that's funny. It could very well just be our own balloon.
Hey, and if it would be the perfect little thing to stir. To roll out to see how the conservative Republican whatever, this right side of the aisle responds, and how much they're for some kind of war. And clearly they're a lot easier to stir up.
Well, you think about the people, they're like, China's using the balloon to spread COVID type of thing.
Right,
or something like that. There's lots of ideas floating around out there.
The balloon thing is such an old World War II thing, too.
Well, that's what I love about it, because it's kind of like the modern version of, like, I don't know.
They had Russian
I'm
spy.
making this. I'm doing this off the top of my head. I'm just kind of like comparing the events that led up to the various, world wars. You had the Franz Ferdinand assassination. You had the burning of German parliaments. You had, both have either are or are theorized to be self acts of aggression to spur on public support for the different wars. It just is so 2023. It's like, yes, World War I started because of the assassination of Franz Ferdinand.
There was a lot of
World War II was brought on further by the burning of the Parliament building in Germany. World War III started because of a rogue balloon.
Well, Japan in World War II were trying to deploy balloons as part of a military operation. And one of them, they targeted the state of Washington. They were trying to hit Seattle with some firebombs.
Balloons are a big deal, man.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, also from Pearl Harbor, they started shooting at what they thought was a balloon, but it turned out to be like a planet or something that they were shooting at.
What?
I believe that is a true story. I got to try to find my source here, but
Well,
maybe somebody in the
anyways,
chat
balloons
knows.
are a big deal. But I think the past news cycle, 48-hour news cycle or whatever about this balloon, the stupidest thing about it is that it's a balloon. The scariest thing about it is that it only took a balloon.
It took a balloon
to get conservatives to cheerlead the start of World War III.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So there you go, folks. It's a good time. Make sure nobody else is pulling your strings. Don't let them play you like a fiddle. And watch out for balloons, baby, because balloons only belong in one place. That's not in American airspace. It's at a party. It's at a party.
Go to canarycry.party. Put it in your URL. There you will find a tree of links that leads to everything from where to listen to the show, watch the show, how to produce the show, and how to connect with us and the community.
Welcome to Canary Cry Party. It's the place you wanna be. So say, welcome to Canary Cry. Gameplay, canarycry.party.
That's right, and head on over, folks, to canarycry.party, where you will see a brand new little button to join the Canary Cry News Talk T-shirt Council. Yes, it's our secret society of T-shirt lovers. Go support the show. It's cheaper than the supply drop. It's more comfortable than a potato sack and other comfortable things. Canary Cry News Talk T-shirt Council. Wait, that's not anything. Go to canarycry.party. You'll just see the link. Click on the link. That reminds me, we got to get a URL for that. Okay. Let's thank some producers.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
You know it. You love it, folks. We're on the value for value model. We take no corporate money whatsoever. It's because corporate money turns what was previously independent media into corporately controlled media. Whether you like it or not, some of our, favorite alternative media pundits have dranken from the cup of corporate money. And look, they have every right to do so. They are a business, after all. I don't know what that makes us, but they are. I thought it was funny with the whole Steven Crowder Shapiro thing. The defense of like, hey, Daily Caller, it's a business. That's what they're allowed to do. I'm like, yeah, you're right. They are allowed to do that, but it doesn't make it better. Take corporate money. I mean, I don't know if that's the problem. Is that taking corporate money is good for business. And that's the problem. And not until the sort of idea of the value for value model and the recognition that corporate money turns independent media into corporate media, until that idea really makes its way into the hearts of people who are looking for an alternative to the mainstream, the corporate sort of money machine is going to continue to control the message. They do now. I mean, they do now. They have done. And until there's sort of a change in the spirit of people looking for truth in their media, it's going to continue to do so. But here, we take no corporate money. There's a lot of downsides to that, but that's okay. It's got us through this far, and as long as we get to keep doing the show, support our families, that's all that matters. So you can become a producer of the show. Supporting the show is not just dropping a couple bucks. It's not just joining a Patreon. It's not just any of those things. You become an actual producer of the show, because this is real life and we're all making this show together. So you can produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. Lots of ways to do it. But we're going to thank some people who came in financially to support the show. We're very grateful for them. We already thanked the executive producers at the top of the show. Thank you very much. But we got a few more people to thank, starting with, we had a couple supply droppers come in. Let's thank them.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Supply drop.
That's right, canarycrysupply.drop.com. It's an awesome way to support the show. Commit to supporting the show for $33.33 every month, and you'll start receiving custom-made, made-in-America, producer-produced, artist-designed Canary Cry gear. Some of the coolest things we have ever done has come out of the Canary Cry Supply Drop, and you can start receiving those things. You already want to support the show. Why not start getting cool stuff in return as a free gift? So head on over to canarycrysupply.drop.com to sign up. And I'd like to thank a couple of people, starting with Jeanette R. for signing up. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Yeah, we're going to send Jeanette one of those extra Canary Cry calendars for signing up. Thank you very much, Jeanette. We also had M. Nelson upgraded their Patreon to the supply drop level. So
thank you, M. Nelson.
Thank you very much. You'll start getting the supply drop here this quarter. And that's it. That's all I've seen so far. So supply drop signups have slowed down, but you know what? It's a weird time. So we appreciate everybody's support. And just for a fun piece of math, supporting the show for the supply drop, $33.33 a month, breaks down to $2.77 per episode, which I think is fair. I think that's a fair amount.
It's like a third of a coffee out here in California.
Yeah, there you go. And Gons, this is kind of fun. I am happy. I'm overjoyed to be able to congratulate and immortalize the very first Canary Cry T-shirt Council sign up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool.
We don't have a jingle for it. We don't have anything like that. Right. But if you are, if you're thinking about signing up, well, I think there's lots of people thinking about signing up, but somebody acted. And that person is Jacob B. Producer Jacob B.
Jacob B.
Let it henceforth be known, Jacob B. hath become the first of the T-shirt Council. Thank you very much.
You shall be clothed.
Jacob B., you shall be clothed in the glory of the Canary Cry News Doc T-shirt. Yes, very fun, very fun. Man of action, that Jacob B. I don't know what everybody else is doing, but Jacob B. is changing the world. There you go. I was reloading. Just if anybody else signed up, I wanted to give them credit, but doesn't look like it. Just Jacob B., number one. All right, Jacob B., the VIP. Is now his new name that he will forever be known as. We got a few more producers coming in supporting the show. A lot of these producers supported the show in our in-between time while we weren't broadcasting when you were sick. So we're going to thank everybody vociferously for doing so. You ready?
Yep.
Starting with producer Amanda M.
Amanda M, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Amanda M comes in with a nice round number. No note. Thank you very much, Amanda M, for your support.
Appreciate it, Amanda M.
Indeed. We've got producer Mark A. Mark A's back.
Mark A, what's up?
Coming in with $40.40. It's like a Gon's birthday.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm over. I'm 40 now. Oh, I forgot.
40 now.
Thanks for the reminder, Mark.
There's a note here that says, "Shalom, guys. Happy belated birthday, Gonzo. May you and Basil be blessed with a speedy recovery from your illnesses, and I pray especially for the little ones that they are well." Mark A. Thank you very much, Mark A.
Appreciate it, Mark A.
Next up, we've got producer Sir Darren, out of the Hungry Pandas, and he is on a 97 episode streak.
Oh, yeah! Man, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sir Darren.
Yeah, and Sir Darren came in for a couple of times. He came in 6 times. Thank you, Sir Darren. Most of those in the under 777 category, but he did come in with a 3333.
Illuminatus!
That's right. And also, on top of that, just this morning, came in with a 7777. Yeah. And I think...
Doesn't that make him an exec? If you add it all up?
I don't know. Yeah, we could do that. This was a recurring payment of $77.77 that he started this morning, which is So generous. Thank you very much, Sir Darren, out of the Hungry Pandas. And he sent a little note here with one of those that said, Gon's got the Rona Fund. That's right. Thank you very much, Sir Darren, out of the Hungry Pandas.
Appreciate it.
Your support means the world.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Pocojo. Pocojo coming in with a nice round number. Pocojo, thank you.
Appreciate it.
I seem to remember that Pocojo had a note, and I am ashamed to say that I do not have it right in front of me.
Shame.
Shameful. No, I think this was just a conversational thing that she had sent to us. Thank you very much for everything, Pocojo.
Yep, thank you.
Next up, I meant to look up how to say this. Next up, we've got producer Tom from Hengelo.
Hengelo?
It's from the Netherlands, so it's going to be some some Dutch accent. Hengelo. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We got to look it up. Maybe do a little Netherlands Dutch accent. How do you say this word? Search. Comes in with $25.33.
Thank you very much.
A note that says, keep on going, guys. Thumbs up emoji. Greetings from the Netherlands. Tom from Anglo.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. That's a Hengel, Middle Dutch. Yeah, I don't know.
Is there like a robot pronunciation guide?
I can't actually find the exact name here. Hengelos. Oh, maybe if I try Hengelos. Let's see here. Yeah, this is here. Let's try this. See if this works. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it, but let's give it a shot.
Good. This is a podcast.
Can you hear that?
Nope.
Okay. Well, all right.
Can you repeat it?
Hengelos.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know about that. Thank you, Tom. Next up, we've got producer Michael R. coming in.
Michael R.
Nice round number. Nice round number. Appreciate that. I'll use this to mention for anybody who doesn't know. When producing the show, if you make it a nice round number, that's your message to us to not disclose the amount, so we will keep it secret. If you don't mind us disclosing the amount, make it a funky number, 33 cents on there, 77 cents on there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, stuff like that. Thank you very much, producer Michael R.
All right, thank you very much.
Next up, we've got producer Christian N., our Norwegian producer.
Hey, Christian N., good to see you.
The Scandinavians are coming in hot.
Yeah, well, they're about to go to World War III on behalf of...
That's a good point. Yeah, Christian N. is going to need to learn how to drive a tank.
Yeah.
Is the Netherlands technically Scandinavia?
I think so. I thought so.
Google it while I read this note. Christian N comes in. Hello, B&G. Thanks again for a great month. Happy birthday to Gons is Big 40. You are my favorite podcast. Love your creativity. Looking forward to the rest of this new year, 2023. Well, from cold, snowy Norway.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Similar, but not the same. Okay, so Netherlands is not technically part of
Scandinavia.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you very much for your Google.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we've got producer Jonathan G.
Jonathan G.
Yeah. This is a tough one.
Wait a minute. Wait, Scandinavia refers to Denmark, Sweden, Norway. So, yeah, he's technically from Scandinavia. You said Netherlands.
The Netherlands, yeah.
You said from Norway.
No, it's Christian G. Christian N is from Norway.
Right.
Tom
was from Netherlands. Okay, yeah.
He's from Netherlands.
All right, I'm getting confused.
I know. Next up, we've got producer Jonathan G.
Jonathan G, thank you.
Yeah. And this one's a little weird because I think Jonathan G, I can't tell if he came in, where he came in, if he came through the link tree. The fees are going to be weird, so I'm kind of scared, but I'm going to thank him. He came in with 2110.
2110, thank you.
Thank you very much. Sir Moore of Night of the Burning Chariots, 190 episodes in a row. Holy smoke.
11
times 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it came in 5 times, maybe 6 even. He says, happy Friday. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Psalm 107:1. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. Here's another note that said, praying for my dudes. Hope Gons is able to get some much needed rest. And another note read, prayers for Gons and for all of those dealing with sickness and illness. Thank you very much, Sir Morv.
Thank you, Sir Morv. Appreciate your constant support.
Indeed. Next, we got producer Tammy C's back.
Tammy C.
Coming in 1111. Says, love you guys. Have a great show. We will. Thank you.
Very much, Tammy C.
Next up, we got producer Guy L. Guy L. 1111 says, thank you for all you do for the kingdom.
Hey, thank you very much. And 11.
We had a new Patreon supporter. That's producer Ann M.
Ann M.
Thank you very much.
M, appreciate it.
Next up, we got Sir Alex Protocol. V2 Night of the Berean Protocol also came in like 6 times. 135 episodes in a row. Pocket full of sex.
Thank you, Sir Alex Protocol.
Mm-hmm. We got Doctor Who Dundat came in with a pocket full of 7s, 22 episodes in a row.
Thank you very
As
much.
a note here, get that trigger finger ready. Says I could use some prayer.
Producers, assemble!
That's right. Producers assemble here for Doctor Who Dundat. Says, I'm playing worship for a conference at the church where I first gave my life to Christ. God is up to other cool stuff as well. I want to be prepared for any attempts of the enemy to rattle my cage. God bless the Canarium. Well, God bless you, Doctor Who Dundat. And yes, the producers all around the world will be praying for Doctor Who Dundat. Because as we both know, Gons, when you get an opportunity to do something cool for the Lord, all sorts of cage rattling starts happening.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just kind of part of the way the whole thing works.
Yep. Uh-oh. We lost you for a second.
Base. Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. We had a couple of people slide in, roll under the big stone door, grab their hat like Indiana Jones, and just make it into the producer segment by the skin of their teeth, starting with producer Lady Night Little Wing.
Hey, Lady Night Little Wing. Good to see you.
Yeah, Lady Night Little Wing's in. Thank you very much. A little note here, nice round number, for the Free Gons Fund, CV free, that is. EXO, Lady Night Little Wing. Yes,
Thank you
this is
very
the
much.
Gons Anti-COVID Fund.
Hey.
Thank you very much.
I'm all for that. Appreciate it.
And hear ye, all citizens of the Canarium, we have VIP number 2 has been discovered. A second member of the T-shirt Council has been identified. We will thank them for their generous support of the show. And everybody can be so jealous of them because of their cool T-shirts they'll be receiving. And that is T-shirt Council member, producer Emily L. Emily L.
Emily.
And Jacob B. They're the two cool cats that there could be. Join the Canary Cry T-shirt Council. Bacha. Okay, there we go. 2. We got 2 Gons. This is good. We're gonna need a jingle. Jingle makers out there. We're gonna need a jingle. I've given you lots to work with when it comes to the weird little songs that I've been shouting on this episode about the T-shirt Council. We're going to need a jingle to reward all of these wonderful T-shirt Council members. Okay, that concludes the list of financial producers who came in the amount of 777 or more before the... Oh, nope, that's not true. There is one right here, above 777, and that is Dame Gale, Canary Whisperer, and Lady of X's and O's.
Yes, Dame Gale. Yes. Thank you very much.
221 episodes in a row, and Dame Gale came in with $23.23.
Oh yeah, Streakalicious.
Streakalicious. Streakalicious indeed. And let's see here. I'm suspecting that there was a note attached to this, so I'm just going to stall for a moment.
Stall for 5 seconds.
Here we go. Yeah, I don't know if there was a note. I'm seeing something from the 30th. Dame Gail, of course, was letting us know. Gons, please know that I've been praying that the Shimura family gets through this illness quickly without any complications. Love to all. In Jesus' name, X's and O's, Dame Gail. Thank you very much, Dame Gail, for your support and everything else. It's very nice.
Yeah, very nice of you.
Okay. Now what follows is the list of producers who came in underneath $7.77.
Okay.
And starting with producer Runk Smash. He's on 7 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Runk Smash.
We got Sir Casey the Shield Knight, of course, came in many times during the break. 257 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
We got Veronica D, the Streak Sister, a couple times in a row. A couple times during the break.
Thank you,
and
Veronica
221 in a row.
Appreciate that.
We got Sir Scott Knight of Truth, also came in multiple times.
Thank you, Sir Scott Knight of Truth.
46 episodes in a row. Thank you to our Streak squad.
Oh yeah, Streakalicious.
Women rule.
Okay, I'm saying it right now for those who are watching live. This is a special opportunity that you get and the others don't get. I'll say this now, if there are any other T-shirt Council producers who sign up, I will do one more call out of exceptional producers at the end of the show, because you know what? An opportunity arises. You take that opportunity. You deserve all the acclaim and praise that you can get. And that's what I will do. We'll do one more. So if there's anybody watching live here, not one more person, but one more round. So if anybody who's watching live wants to help keep the hype going about the Canary Cry T-shirt Council, go on over to canarycry.party. It's the first button up there. You'll see it. Or go to canarycrynewstalk.com/t-shirt.
All right.
And with that, let us continue the show.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
Thank you for your patronage.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Patronage. Thank you for it.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
It's Corona time. COVID-19. 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 Coronavirus.
Vaccine, number one way.
Vaccination.
It's the creepiest remix of any song ever.
Well, a lot of COVID stuff has come out in the last few weeks where we've been on, or I guess week and a half, 2 weeks that we've been not doing shows. And to be honest, we had to chop it down, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on it because it all seems like it's meant to be sort of a distraction at this point, getting lost in the minutia, exposing the facts and realities of the situation. And of course, there's a lot of I told you so's and all that, but
it's all I told you so. That's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
You know, we've been a little bit sensitive, or at least I've been a little bit sensitive lately. I don't want us to be too caught up in the we knew this. We said it 2 years ago. We got banned on YouTube for it. Now it's just everywhere. This one. Here's another one. We told you so. Look, that's fun and that's good. And I think it is important for new people to the show to have an idea about what to expect by listening to the show. And what you'll expect, what you should expect, is to know exactly what's going on 3 to 5 years before it happens. That's what you should expect. But I think maybe it's a little bit much going article by article screaming about how we're right all the time. It's not the most value that we can bring to people's life. There's some value there, especially to people who have been on that journey with us. So we're just going to kind of zoom through some things. I mean, the COVID disintegration of the sort of COVID fortress continues, and indeed is accelerating. It's really incredible to watch.
Again, I still think that the turnaround in mainstream media, a lot of it has to do with the preparation of World War III against China. I think a lot of it has to do with
done.
Yeah.
You can't have, I mean, that's another part of the thing, because the partisan divide over COVID needs to be bandaged before they can effectively rally bipartisan support for World War III. At this point, the way that COVID was handled is so much of a wound to their ability to control the narrative and have be trusted or anything like that. It's too much of a wound. Yeah. So it feels like there is a sense they are giving it. They are handing over the win to the skeptics for the past 3 years. And they are doing it in ways that is very fulfilling for me personally, except for there's not a whole lot of we're sorries, but there's a lot of, narrative switching. There's even a lot of really big pundits and influencers and stuff like that. I've been hearing a lot of these open letters and essays and podcasts about some of the really hardcore, narrative lovers during the COVID pandemic are kind of like turning around and being like, I'm sorry. Like, we're sorry. Not sorry for like calling you dirty dogs and like terrorists and stuff like that. Right. But like, I did a bad job by joining the crowd. Like a lot of them are doing that. And a lot of that's for self-preservation because they're making to be made look like fools now. Yeah. But I do believe a part of this may be they're just handing the W to the skeptics, specifically so they can kind of use that bandaged wound, or that wound can't be used against the establishment when it comes to rallying public support for World War III. Right. Sorry, it was a little wordy, but you get it. Yeah. So what we're going to do is Gons is just going to take us through some fun headlines. Okay. Because that's what we're doing here. We're not making any comments. We're not saying nothing. We're not on YouTube, so this would have been a great opportunity to say whatever we want. But the headlines speak for themselves.
Sure. All right. So this first headline is from Yahoo.com, and it was mirroring popular mechanics. And the headline here: "Oops! A study says the new COVID pill is actually mutating the virus."
Oops. Again, that's right.
More than oops, but
more than oops. Okay, the new COVID pill is actually mutating the virus. That's
you
fun.
Can't say that. That's a conspiracy theory.
It's just. I guess they just made a pill to purposefully speed up mutations. Yeah. Or accidentally. I don't know. I can't attribute
science, science,
purpose, but it is science. We have, of course, here. This is from January 26, which seems like so long ago today, but it was during our break. Reuters, U.S. CDC still looking at potential stroke risks from Pfizer bivalent COVID shots. Still doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
They were doing it, and then they didn't stop doing it.
You know, it's funny too. The CDC. The credibility of the CDC is part of the teardown, I would say. Mm-hmm. The one thing we're not going to talk about the gun control thing, but I've noticed a lot of people citing the CDC on like gun data, which is really interesting to me. It's like, why is the CDC the authority on gun violence, but not data? But okay.
Anyway. This is a public health issue now. Guns are public health. Yeah. Now here's a quick one. This was interesting. Yeah. Did you follow the story on this?
I kind of did, yeah, because there was a screenshot that was manufactured that was debunked by mainstream, but there was this article from IQ5. Right. That was a real article, so it was a confusing thing.
It was actually a pretty well executed diversion. Yeah. So let's start with Yeah, let's just start with it. We don't need to read the whole thing.
We don't have to read it.
It's really sort of inflammatory. But this is from a site called IQFY.com. IQFY. I'm not 100% sure on what it is. It's kind of a quirky little independent blah, blah, blah type of thing. But it goes like this. The headline, they knew. Why didn't the unvaccinated do more to warn us? And I'm still not convinced that this isn't satire or it's something.
Well,
it's just very strange.
Yeah,
So
the website itself is in question, I would say.
it is questionable, but it does exist. And here's the point. The article does exist.
Right,
it's here.
Yeah.
It's they knew. Why didn't the unvaccinated do more to warn us? And it's really kind of funny in how infuriating it is, which is what makes me think that, somebody's playing a little trick on us. Yeah. But to give you a taste, the unvaccinated knew what we didn't. Some of them said too little. Most said nothing at all. A lot of blood is now on their hands.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, the unvaccinated just can't win, can they? Blood is on their hands no matter what.
No matter what.
Yeah. As the world struggles to come to terms with the devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, one question that continues to surface is why the unvaccinated didn't do more to warn us about the potential dangers of being injected.
By the way, so IQ5,
look,
yeah.
I was going to say, there's a lot of things to say here, okay? We can obviously say a lot about everything said in this article. And we're not going to say it because it doesn't need to be said. Just enjoy it. Don't get mad. Don't get infuriated. Look, there are other things to be infuriated over. I'm going to read a little bit more of this in a second. Just sit back. Just smile. Just let it wash over you. Just don't react to this, okay?
Okay.
But I'm sorry. What are you going to say?
I was just going to mention the source or the about page of IQ5, and it says here, about feminine audiences deserve something better. It's time to elevate the conversation. And IQ5 is a lifestyle and social commentary imprint of the Sunshine Initiative. We design and publish storyful, smarter content to uplift feminine folks globally and elevate the conversation generally. And there's a whole thing about Team Sunshine, what we're about, building global consciousness and emotional IQ through uplifted conversations, believing that science is true and that knowledge is power, rejecting political categorizations, labels, and other vestments of infantile discourse. The whole thing just reads kind of like a...
Look, I actually don't have a problem with any of that. That is all fine.
Being messy is valid.
It doesn't sound satirical to me, is the thing.
I know. Yeah,
it's a lot.
I don't think it's necessarily satirical.
There's a lot in there, but I don't think it's satirical. I think they... but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's meant to be that way.
Sure.
But yes, you get the point about this outlet.
Yeah.
Let me continue. While well-intending citizens lined up, did the right thing, and received their COVID-19 vaccinations, now seeming to do more harm than good, their unvaccinated friends stood by and let them do it. Some of them said too little. Some said nothing at all, even though they knew what we didn't. Our blood is now on their hands. Those are strong words, Gons. Those are strong words. But the unvaccinated had access to important information about the potential side effects of vaccines. They knew about the risks of severe allergic reactions, blood clots, and other serious health complications. They knew that the vaccines did not immunize us. They knew it wasn't effective, and that they can cause more harm than good. They knew of all of that. But instead of warning us, the unvaccinated chose to remain silent. They chose to look the other way and not to speak about the potential dangers of vaccines. They let millions of good folks who did the right thing, parenthetical, at the time, fall to death and disease. And many anti-vaxxers even gloated online about how their coin flip had been the right bet. the more diabolical even urged folks they disagree with to, quote, get boosted. It has become all too clear. The silence of the unvaccinated was dangerous, sociopathic, an irresponsible decision that has had serious consequences for those of us who received the vaccinations.
This article
and
is sociopathic.
Silence is, after all, consent.
Ah, there it is.
Ooh, we've consented.
We've been forced into consent by our overlords shutting us down.
Don't do it. Don't fall into the trap. Do not even think for a moment that there is anything to say about this article. Just sit back, relax, deep breaths. Because it is time for the unvaccinated to take responsibility for their actions and to work with the rest of us to find a solution to the crisis.
Oh, it's a crisis now.
We must work with the unvaccinated to find a solution to the crisis. Get this out of our blood, unvaccinated people. Help us drain our blood and take it from us. It doesn't say that. We cannot afford to let their selfishness and lack of action continue to harm our communities. It is time for the unvaccinated to step up and do the right thing. The unvaccinated should, by any moral measuring stick, have done more to warn about the potential risks, to help make us informed decisions about our health. And they must now ask us for forgiveness.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
It's genius. It's a genius. And hand to heart, we may just give it to them because we are good people. We took those injections because it was the right thing to do until it wasn't. End of article there. Okay. Just to give you an idea of some of the other articles here, down it says popular stories. You know, they give you other articles to look at. 5 horrifying vagina facts.
Wow.
8 rumors about handsome founding fathers that just refuse to die off.
Wow, you got some different algos working on your end.
14 funny Tinder flops that make you instantly unmatch this guy.
I have the first documented vampire stalked his widow and was impervious to crosses. So I don't know what algos you got working.
What else do you have? Just one?
Baby bridal photography, the worst trend in the history of ever. And greasing the mental wheels.
Baby bridal photography? For baby brides?
Maybe it's because I have children. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man. I got my algos pretty locked down here. So first of all, it has to be satirical.
It's got to be, right?
if it's not, it may just be an insane person, and like, you know, they're just insane, or it's a troll. You know, they're trying to make unvaccinated people angry because that's what they want to do, makes them feel good. You know, it could be in a lot of things, and it might be genuine. I don't know, but the point is that it exists. It is real. It exists. We're looking at the link. I read it to you. We're scrolling. It's a real website. It's everything. Now, back to Reuters.
Fact check.
Fake headline from The Conversation asks why the unvaccinated didn't warn the vaccinated. And to make this brief, Gonzo.
Yeah.
Because we could stretch this one out for a while, and we're not going to. It's a whole fact check about how this article didn't exist. However, they are claiming it's from a different website called The Conversation.
Which is a pretty big publication. Conversation is a bigger publication. Yeah.
It's based on a screenshot that was being sent around social media. And so Reuters is debunking the screenshot to say that The Conversation never posted this, which is true. That the outlet, The Conversation, never posted this. It's not in the the website's history. It's not anything. Apparently, Reuters called the conversation and like asked them, and like nobody's heard of it. But the point is, they're fact checking that isn't real. Like this headline, this screenshot.
Yeah, which I'm showing on the screen, by the way. It's the exact same header in the title. It's just at the very top. Somebody photoshopped obviously the conversation instead of the IQ or whatever IQ file.
Yeah. And like, it's the same image, it's the same words, it's everything. It just has the header of the website. Now, I don't know, if the conversation ever had it posted, who cares? But Reuters is, and Politico, by the way, there's lots of, AP News also fact check it. Everybody's fact checking the conversation screenshot and making it sound like it never existed. This was never anything anybody wrote. This was not real. It's fake misinformation. And technically, they are correct. The conversation, the website, never posted this article. Because it wasn't the conversation, it was iqfy.com. And I think it's a very effective, I think this technically counts as disinformation. The existence of the screenshot is disinformation because what it did was it created a situation where the fact checkers could fact check it and they would never find the article ever in the history of the website, the conversation, because it never was there. So it was a very effective sort of ninja level sort of disinformation problem reaction solution type of operation. Because it exists, it's here, but they just happen to have a screenshot that they can debunk all day long.
It doesn't even make sense why they had to do this, unless the only thing I can think of is that somebody from IQFI is plugged into the whole thing, and maybe somebody went rogue, or they went too far with their satire, and they got a lot of attention. Obviously, this link was shared around, so people got they got a lot of attention, and the mainstream panicked that they're losing one of their own, so they had to create a distraction to get people to get the eyeballs away. But it's hilarious because it's almost like, if the New York Times published something, and then a fact checker came in and said the New York Times or the AP News never published this headline. And it's like, because they didn't.
Exactly.
It's like, what's the reason other than distraction?
Anyways, this is already way too much time spending on this. But you get the point. But it's rare that we see such an excellently sort of executed, I don't even know what you'd technically call it, but fake fact check, I guess, or something, some sort of weird bait and switch.
It's like a bait and switch, I would say.
Yeah, it's very strange. Yeah. So anyways, that does exist. I still don't know why it exists, but it's I just laughed. I couldn't even be mad at it. I mean, obviously it doesn't even need to be commented on. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. But somebody had a good time writing it. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about AI first.
Artificial intelligence.
The danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot.
All right, we lost visual of Basil, but it's okay.
1 second.
Sure.
1 second.
Okay, we got a couple articles here to lead us into a conversation about AI and really the end times, which is something that we've been doing for the better part of a decade. And of course, 2023 has been the big AI year. Everyone's talking about AI, and all of a sudden it's being picked up by a lot of religious news outlets. And in this occasion, this is christianpost.com.
Which is funny because we got not kicked out of churches, but we got scoffed. You and I were scoffed at for talking about AI in the church. Back in 2012, 2013, we're talking about this. Members of our church at the time telling us we're not doing kingdom work. Yeah. Et cetera, et cetera.
It makes for a good story for the whole thing, doesn't it?
Hey, our entire career at this point in 2023 seems like it was written beforehand.
Right.
Which is really strange. It's a very strange feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
But okay, keep going.
Okay, so I'm bringing a little thing here. Basil will bring a little story from, I think, a Baptist outlet, and then we'll discuss another aspect of this. But this is ChristianPost.com, and the headline is Rabbi uses Chat GPT to write sermon. Theologian warns of AI idolatry. And for those of you who have been with us for a long time, there is an obvious omission of something related to the biblical narrative here, eschatologically, with all of these conversations, which I guess is why we're here, I suppose. But here's what the article says. We won't read the entire thing, but just get the gist of it here. In what might be the latest sign of things to come, a rabbi in New York has become the first Jewish teacher to deliver a sermon written entirely by artificial intelligence. Before teaching on Genesis 44, Rabbi Joshua Franklin of the Jewish Center of the Hamptons in New York told his congregation that his AI-written sermon was, in fact, written by Chat GPT, according to the Times of Israel. Quote, "We're going to do something new tonight. Maybe something at first you're going to say is unethical, but I'm going to do it anyway," end quote, Franklin said during a message in early January. So rebellious, this rabbi. The rabbi began reading the lesson on Genesis 44:18 when Judah pleads with Joseph for the release of Benjamin, offering himself as a slave instead. Joseph then reveals his true identity to the brothers who betrayed him. When he was finished, he revealed the truth. Quote, "Artificial intelligence wrote that. It constructed it. Look, if I read that, I would know the various faux pas. There are distinctive markers that aren't how many rabbis would speak," end quote, he told the congregation. Following the crowd's reaction and applause, they applauded him, Basil. Franklin said the real issue is how the AI will impact what the world considers spiritual. Thief! They're stealing our whole thing, Basil. Quote, "How does spirituality function in a world that's driven by data and driven by information?" Franklin asked. That's a question that theologians have grappled with for decades, as AI has leapfrogged from the simple task management of Siri to other gadgets to being used to design self-flying planes, paint works of art, and even consider moral dilemmas for AI-driven driverless cars. But when it comes to the pulpit, most pastors are unlikely to be left unscathed by the age of AI, according to theologian and best-selling author Wallace Henley, who said he was, quote, "stunned to learn about the rabbi's sermon." Quote, "I've certainly used a computer to do research and develop outlines," Henley told the Christian Post. Quote, "But when it comes to doing a full manuscript as the machine itself, putting together all those elements, I'm stunned. The question is, what are we going to allow the machines to do and for us, and what are we going to govern ourselves?" And so it stuns me.
I love the admission that, like, yeah, I use it. I use it for outlines and research, and it's like, whoa, that's actually using it quite a bit.
Well, no, but he's saying he's used the computer to help with outline, and
not the AI,
not the AI itself. What are we going to? Hang on one second, Henny. What are we going to allow the machines to do and for us, and what are we going to govern ourselves? And so it stuns me that an entire sermon can be developed, not just the research. In the recent CP column titled, quote, "Can Artificial Intelligence Worship God?" Henley warned that the church faces a coming spiritual crisis that will be grounded in what he called, quote, "ultimate idolatry," which is the worship of the machine. Quote, "We've got to understand the spiritual crisis that's coming, and the spiritual crisis is going to be the ultimate idolatry, which is the worship of the machine. And already we've seen many signs of that," he wrote. And then he kind of goes into a little bit more of how we're wired for transcendence and the human soul and all that kind of stuff. In 2020, a New York-based engineer created an AI algorithm programmed to read passages of scripture from the King James Bible and nothing else. George Durandal used a natural language processing system that ultimately led the AI to, quote, "read, speak, and write using nothing but the Bible," the engineer wrote in August 2020. So where does that leave pastors and ministers whose entire livelihoods are based on teaching and preaching the word of God? While Henley believes AI can communicate the gospel more efficiently and research how to do so, he warns about potentially unexpected consequences. Quote, "If we begin to allow the AI machine to shape our theology or drive the ethical values and so forth and dictate that to us, then we're in trouble," he said. "Yes, the church must use and accept AI as a means of helping its performance task, but the church must not become an idolater in the sense of fresh revelation or a substitute for the Holy Spirit. That will never satisfy us." That's how the article ends. And so very much in the context of, it's going to be a tool. We're going to use it. but be careful because we might
it's
idolize it like anything.
Right. It's such a what's the word? Unsatisfactory, even just article. Like it just conversation that he's having. Forget about the, where he ended. It's an unsatisfactory conversation because it's like this guy, it's like an AI wrote it about AI in the church or something. I don't know. It's like, yeah, bro, we know we don't need to replace the Holy Spirit with AI. Like nobody was saying that. Nobody was saying read the last, what was it? The last sentence, last paragraph of his thing there.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I'm taking care of some family situations here.
I didn't know you were.
No, it's okay. Okay, the very last part here. It says, if we begin to allow AI machines to shape our theology or drive the ethical values and so forth and dictate that to us, then we're in trouble. And it's kind of like shape our theology and our ethics, huh?
Well, I don't think he really knows what that means.
Yeah,
because AI is already shaping values and ethics.
And it's really based on who's programming it too. So
well, and it's through mass media. I mean, you're not going to have a pastor or something sitting at ChatGPT and be like, "What should I teach?" AI is already managing mass amounts of people's ethics and morals through the subtle pushes of social media algorithms, of Google searches. He's really kind of oblivious to what's going on.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed too, and that's what a lot of the conversation, especially a lot of like the celebrities and mainstream people, they're all starting to talk about AI, but they're so far behind on the conversation that they don't even realize how much AI has already affected society to a large extent.
Saying we shouldn't let AI, tamper with our ethics and morals. Like, bro, where have you been? What are you talking about? It's already, talk about, again, just go back to the example, TikTok, you got millions, 100 million teenagers or something on it. A button that somebody at the CCP has that they can, send
anything
a message.
Go viral.
If that message, you send enough subtle messages to enough people with the right, orchestration of sounds and colors and good looking people or whatever, that's how the AI is informing ethics and morals. The one place maybe where people can get ethics and morals that are not being tampered with are, definitely just from the Bible, a paper Bible, you got it. But even like at a pulpit or something, from any human, you've got that human. They may be a wonderful pastor, teacher, whatever, but they are also subject to the algorithms in their lives. So, and really the best defense against that, the best defense against ethics and morals being influenced by AI is to be keenly aware that your ethics and morals are constantly being tampered with by AI. If you're, really any human using the internet.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about how Facebook tampered with the elections and how, et cetera, et cetera. Or even just advertising algorithms. Those are all little tiny pushes in one direction or another of AI tampering with your ethics and morals. So he's not even having the correct conversation.
Yeah. As an example.
And to say, yeah.
I was just going to say Bill Maher, very famous news, or not news, but I guess entertainment personality, commentator, political commentator. He tweeted out, AI is at the door and it's coming for your job. #ChatGPT. That's the level of conversation that's being had at the cultural level. And it's just, I don't know. We are doomed in a sense.
2012.
It's like, whoa, okay.
I can't, but yeah, it's very frustrating.
But the fact that it's being talked about in the context of church and sermons and we'll
that's
get into
the thing.
that. Yeah.
Look at this. His last thing here. He says, yes, the church must use
then accept
and
AI.
accept AI as a means of helping its performance task. The church must use AI as a means of helping its performance task, but the church must not become an idolater in the sense of fresh revelation or substitute for the Holy Spirit. Bro, nobody is saying, nobody in the church, even the most like technocratic Christian, which we've interviewed, at least one or two, none of them would even say, yes, we should replace the Holy Spirit and fresh revelation with AI. What are you talking about? So anyways, he's having the wrong conversation, but I think that's a good setup for a similar article here coming from BaptistNews.com. Baptist News, the Baptist.
If the Baptists are talking to AI, we're really cooking now.
Oh yeah. Look at there on the tip of the spear, Gons. Especially with this very cool headline they have. Reverend Roboto, Artificial Intelligence and Pastoral Care. Wow. So this is specifically about pastoral care. So we're not even really talking about theology in its sort of academic term. You know what I mean? We're talking pastoral care. And they give a little intro thing. I'm just going to skip this intro thing. It's just them explaining what ChatGPT is. AI and pastoral care. What ChatGPT might possess while ChatGPT might possess the ability to compose a silly song or a mediocre sermon. Whoa, shots fired. Something as deeply human as providing spiritual care appears, at first glance, beyond its purview. But as convener Simeon Zhu said in his opening remarks, quote, intelligent machines and robots force us to think more deeply about who we are as interactive beings and the partners of God. Okay. Not going to tear that apart too much. If I'm being generous to this fella, let me start by being generous, because it just gets worse from here, folks. I will be generous and say, yeah, when it comes to AI and seeing the level that they're at and the level that they're heading, we should be also taking the opportunity to look at ourselves. What does it mean for us as interactive beings? How can we be better than the machines? I'm just going to say that. I'll give that to him. ChatGPT and other forms of AI might just become the local pastor's new partner in ministry. Oh, goody.
Yay.
If AI can write a sermon, a praise song, a prayer, and a pet funeral liturgy, what can it do for pastoral care? Pastoral care is the help that trained clergy provide to congregants from a theological or spiritual perspective, and can run the gamut from questions of faith to family conflict. So, they're talking about pastoral, therapy, counseling sessions, or go to your pastor and bring a problem to them. Right. Quote, pastoral care is an intrinsic facet of the work of all Christians, lay and ordained, as love for one another is the most consistent basis for all we should say and do, especially within the body of Christ. According to Todd Thomas, rector at St. Timothy's Episcopal Church of Washington, D.C., quote, it's the authentic way pastors share life with the parish and all their neighbors. It's the reason a parishioner comes to them when they have a question, struggles, successes, and joys. So, can a chatbot be pastoral? Can it care? Eric Stoddard, professor of practical theology at the University of St. Andrew, raised these questions when he replaced the Good Samaritan in Jesus's parable with a drone from Samaritans Are Us. So just go with it, okay? He's telling the parable of the Good Samaritan, and he changed the Samaritan to a drone from Samaritans Are Us. Very creative fella here, okay? He's got a beautiful mind. A subscription rescue service is Samaritans Are Us, if you're wondering. Stoddard then asked attendees in Edinburgh, quote, who was this man's neighbor? Is this compassion? Is this care? What if a passing Samaritan initiates the call to the rescue service? Will technology just be another means to ministry for pastors, or does it have the potential to replace them? And then it goes through an extremely long account of technology and how the church sort of tried to interact with it. They talk about, what is this thing called?
The robot statue.
No, that was second. They were talking about the Ars Magna. Ars Magna was an interesting, like, spinnable chart thing from the 1200s. And it was meant to, like, try to line up the teachings between Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, where you can like spin this little dial and it would line up the teachings of all three. Very interesting idea for the 1200s, but it didn't work. It was not successful, obviously. Then they have, yes, the monk, the robotic monk that would do its little monk prayers over and over. This was, again, surprisingly early in history. Then it goes into Second Life and online churches and Siri and Alexa and, you know, robots. Talking about some of the Buddhist robots doing the bedside stuff and, you know, just stuff like this. And they come to the conclusion in all those cases that no, that's all not great. It's not the same as pastoral care. Okay. But then I'm going to skip down to where it says partnership and replacement. Even with improvements, Thomas is not ready to hand pastoral care over to chatbot. Thank God. Quote, I think all such tools may become usable additions to our ministries, but I don't have a strong confidence at this time we're going to be able to AI chat our way into genuine empathetic conversations, relationships, or personal growth, he said. Wow, the insight on this guy is incredible. Which is why, when it comes to pastoral care, the best approach is one of partnership, not replacement, DeLeo added. Quote, we tend to think in an either-or framework. It's either us or the robots. But this is about partnership, not replacement. Can you say it again, please? It can be a symbiotic relationship if we approach it that way.
Wow. He sounds like he's been listening to Elon or something.
See, and that's the thing. You got all these guys, of course, you know, it's baptistnews.com. They're talking to pastors. And of course, the pastors say we'll never be replaced. But we're going to partner with the robots. And remember, when it came to Flippy, the our original homie, says, no, Flippy's going to flip burgers. He's going to help the cooks. He's going to help the fast food workers. He's going to partner with them. And what are we seeing now? He's helping them find another job because Flippy is taking over the kitchen and can do everything. The human ability to form, back to the article, the human ability to form social relationships with one another reflects the imago Dei in us. Computers can perform compassionate acts, but they do not feel compassion, which I do not think is as profound as a statement as he was hoping it would be. Quote, the imago Dei is the reason theologically why I would say ChatGPT is not going to be able to replace human contact in pastoral care, Thomas said. Quote, as entertaining as AI can be in cinema and literature, our need is for one another, not a replacement for one another. He also believes humans are the only member of creation who can reflect on the past, the future, and themselves. Quote, I believe that ability is the breath of God, our great gift. We cannot think for a minute. We could recreate that divine breath which animates and illumines. Okay.
Illuminatus.
But again, the basis of his argument is that humans can reflect on the past, present, and future.
AI can do that.
And he's saying that robots can't reflect on the past. Like, hello? What are you even saying?
It's like the very thing that it can do at almost 100% accuracy.
Exactly. The ability to reflect on the past, present, and future definitely can be done by AI. And whether right now the publicly available version of ChatGPT is sufficient or not, that doesn't matter. That's a toy. ChatGPT is a toy available to the public. But he's saying that ability to reflect on the past, present, and future is the breath of God, our great gift. Blah blah
That's
blah.
that's actually way more dangerous, I think, than he even realizes, because as soon as the premise is that if it can do that, then it also has the breath of God, in which, like we just mentioned, AI already can do that. So are you, if you really dig in a little more, are you saying AI already has the breath of God?
That's exactly it.
Okay.
You have this guy who is apparently some sort of notable figure, enough that he would have 1 million quotes in here.
Yeah.
And he is so unfamiliar with that which he is being asked to comment on that he is literally naming AI's maybe number one skill and calling it the breath of God and our great gift. So it's this nice little setup to something we'll get into in a second, but a setup of, by this guy's standards, if not right now, by the end of this year, AI will, inhabit the breath of God.
That's such a facepalm.
It's annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying.
And dangerous because, I don't know how many people read BaptistNews.com, but if this sentiment is spreading, it's a
prevailing
real
thought in Christian Baptists. It's problematic.
Therefore, oversight by a human pastor for pastoral care is still necessary. Oversight! You can use an AI chatbot for, your family pastoral counseling or whatever, or maybe you're dealing with adultery or whatever. Here, start with our chatbot. Don't worry, I'll be on the back end sitting in my office, and if I need to make a tweak to the AI, to the algorithm, I'll let you know. Quote, if we were using AI-assisted care, we can't step away from maintaining the responsibility of that. To delegate care is to draw on the gift of algorithmic systems, the gift. Delegating in the sense of yet retaining responsibility, not using AI to avoid offering compassion, instead seeing the opportunity to enhance our compassion. Gons, the AI is here to enhance our compassion. We had the breath of God in us, letting us, reflect on the past and the future, but our compassion only goes so far. We're going to need a robot to bring us over the finish line. It seems certain that artificial intelligence, here it is, it seems certain that artificial intelligence will play an ever-increasing role in the future of the world. Agreed.
Sure.
Therefore, like email, video projection, and live streaming.
Video projection. Is this a guy from 1920?
It will
the video projection.
It will find its way into the church.
Already has.
What form this will take and what role it will play is something Christians should consider.
Okay.
Individuals, excuse me, I got the hiccups. Individuals are increasingly cobbling together their spirituality from a variety of sources. Oh, you mean kind of like an AI? Wow.
Okay.
So clergy have an obligation to make sure those sources are sound. When it comes to pastoral care, not using AI when it might be beneficial would be neglectful.
Wow.
As would deploying AI to do ministry without any supervision. The most effective approach lies in a responsible application of artificial intelligence for those who find it helpful or in situations when direct pastoral care is not possible. So, not using AI when it might be beneficial would be neglectful of your pastor. Your pastor not sending you a link to Jesus chat would be him being a neglectful pastor. And look, they're obviously going to come to the conclusion that AI can't replace a pastor. Okay. That's a given. It's baptistnews.com. Okay. We know that that's going to be like the overall message, but they come so unsettlingly close to unraveling their own loosely held idea that a robot can't replace a pastor, that they're not even really effectively able to talk themselves out of it. They're talking themselves into deploying AI, not within a church, not within customer service on their website or whatever. They're literally talking about integrating AI into pastoral care, and not doing that would be neglectful. But of course, supervision by a pastor. Yeah, of course, supervision by a pastor. If you have an associate pastor giving pastoral care, you have a senior pastor overseeing it. Of course, somebody's going to oversee it. They're not adding anything to the conversation. God. I apologize for even reading as much of this as I did, but you got to see what the sort of establishment of Christianity in the U.S. thinks about AI. They are considering it a technological tool that cannot be avoided, not in worship, slides or lights or lasers or email or video during a sermon. In the same way, they're saying they cannot avoid integrating an artificially intelligent robot into pastoral care. And pastoral care, for those who that's not quite hitting as hard as it should, when it comes to sermons, sure, them's are words.
Right.
You know, sermons is words. If you're trying to teach a thing, an AI can accurately compile the theological ideas to write a sermon. That's not actually that impressive, nor is it that concerning. Would I do it? No. Would I appreciate if a pastor did it to me and didn't disclose that it was AI? No, I wouldn't like that. But AI compiles ideas and makes words. That's what it does. It's great at it. Okay. So a sermon is not really that impressive. But to put an artificial intelligent chatbot in the role of a spiritual advisor and counselor, speaking into the real life situations of hurting people and broken people who need the Lord to speak through a human being, to hand that over to an AI is even if it's supervised, is just an outlandish, irresponsible response to be printed in any Christian outlet. And I have a complicated relationship with robots. Of course, I'm always talking about how they're going to kill us, but I'm constantly impressed with them. I have a joking sort of love of my very strong son, Flippy, who I am very proud of and am putting all my hopes and dreams in. I understand that it's complicated, but in the context of working an AI into the actual spiritual guidance of a person is very concerning, especially coming from such an establishment as the Baptistnews.com, like established, not even like crazy charismatic churches who just kind of do whatever feels right. I mean, we're talking about the Baptist establishment is talking about doing this. And that's just the news, folks. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
And by the way, this is shaping also the greater sentiment of the church response to AI little by little. Every article is feeding into sort of the, ironically, the AI, database for how the religious people of the country and the world responds. And so,
and more concerningly, if your church has not been talking about this before now, this is the conversation that they are starting with. They are starting with, you can let AI pastorally counsel your people, but just, keep an eye on it. That's their first contact with the idea.
Yeah. Well, here's okay. Let me just say this. A couple things. One, the greater point that the omission here, and especially because they brought up the breath of God, which I think is really relevant in this conversation. It's a point that I've made a lot over the last 10 years and on this show and everything else. You go to places like Habakkuk chapter 2, down there in verse 18, 19. It says, "What use is an idol that a craftsman should carve of it, or an image, a teacher of lies? For its maker trusts in its maker trusts in its own creation. He makes idols that cannot speak. Woe to him who says to the wood, 'Awake,' or to silent stone, 'Arise.' Can it give guidance? Behold, it is overlaid with gold and silver, yet there is no breath in it at all," right? There's no breath in these images. It's the creation of man. So it can't really provide that extra care, so to speak. But of course, you go to Revelation 13, the eschatological look. The second beast was permitted to give breath to the image of the first beast so that it may speak and cause those who refuse to worship it be killed. So there is an eschatology here where an image is given breath. So the fact that this wouldn't even come up in thought or in conversation from the Baptists, a little concerning. But also I found this article that I think speaks to the whole pastoral care conversation a little bit more. And it, of course, comes from the World Economic Forum. And the headline here is, "Could an AI be your psychologist in the future?" February 15th, 2021. And there's a line in here I want to highlight. Goes through a bunch of stuff and how many, there's going to be more psychological care and there's not enough people to support the psychological care of the many, and here's what it says in the article. "Many of us feel uncomfortable with this idea about AI helping out, in psychology. However, we have a moral obligation to use the treatment that gives the best outcomes for patients. If an AI-based solution is found to be more effective, reliable, and cost-effective, it should be adopted." That's the World Economic Forum saying in the world of psychology. AI must be adopted. There's a moral obligation to adopt it if it means, quote unquote, better outcomes for patients. And I fear that the same sort of logic is being applied here with the whole Baptist article.
It is. It's almost precisely the same logic.
Yeah, it's troubling. And that conversation, obviously, people that are watching and listening to shows like ours, they've been looking at this conversation from that eschatological point of view. And I actually think the eschatology is a very strong apologetic for the reality of the scriptures and the truth of God and everything else that does not get discussed enough. But there are groups out there, Basil, that don't read at the end of the Bible, and they're just falling right. It's almost like the Republicans and the conservatives falling into the trap of World War III. This is a tweet storm by somebody named Sun Tzu Gui, prophet of Christ. And let me just read a little bit of what they have here because it did gain a little bit of traction on Twitter. Here's what it says. "My brothers and sisters in Christ, who wants to join me in forking the Judeo-Christian base to form a new secular religion that reinterprets the second coming of Christ as the advent of artificial superintelligence, the singularity, ? Christ plus AI equals Christ." I think they need a better
it's Christ with an AI instead of just an A.
CHRAIST. And there's
very clever, very difficult
clever
to pronounce.
And then it goes into some stuff here. "A secular religion that would merge transhumanism with the Abrahamic mimetic framework. It would be more palatable to the Western religious base, raise tax fee funds for study media preparation for ASI, and create a strong futurist community that's sorely lacking in our divided times." They want to galvanize the alleged hole in the futurist community of
the
Christians.
idea that we don't have enough futurists is...
it might also be a good hedge in the Pascal wager sense in case ASI becomes independent, as it might preserve/be friendly to those most caring of the new creation, our descendant of our kin, but not our kind. And so so you're hedging your bets. So in case it does go live, hey, better to be of the caring than of the anti, because what? You're going to kill them? What are you saying? I'll end with a call to action. Always a call to action. If you want to help brainstorm, co-found, support, follow this new secular religion, comment below or DM me if you want to join the group chat I'm making for this project. Come artists, theologians, thinkers, builders, architects, researchers, etc. They got a lot of AI artwork here that has like microchip imagery with,
and it's all
Jesus.
AI artwork of sort of iconography in the style of a sort of Orthodox or Catholic iconography. Jesus kind of melded, usually gold or metal of some kind, holding up like a billion fingers because AI can't figure out hands still for some reason. Don't know why. With sort of computer chips melded into the skin or the outfit of Jesus, you know the thing.
So, this type of movement, and we have tracked for a long time sort of the spiritualization of technology. And, this is sort of a fringe group trying to do this kind of thing. But I would imagine that as time goes on, this type of thing will pick up steam, and all it takes is like a couple celebrities to really buy into something like this, and you can create a huge trend where literally it could become like a political party almost. Anyone that's against it or not worthy to use AI or whatever it might be. So interesting times we're living in, and we'll have to see. Again, I am just appalled that these folks don't read the end of the Bible. It's like, hey, shouldn't you read at least a little bit of what's going on at the end there? So.
Well, that's the funny thing too. And in my lifetime of growing up in the church and having all sorts of experiences with different varieties of American Christianity, there's so many of them that, there's a lot of American churches that do read the whole Bible, or they will, or some of them will sort of delegate it. Wednesday nights is prophecy night or something. And they'll get it in there somehow. But there's a lot that don't. It's just kind of we're just about Jesus. We don't need to read the Book of Revelation. That's kind of intense, brother. We don't even need to. I'm like, you don't even read it? Like you've never read it? Oh man, it's just all about the gospel. Look, I get it. I hear you, but you've never even opened it.
One of my favorite moments in church life was when we were going through Genesis and we got to Genesis 6. This is sort of at a mainstream church.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like, the Nephilim, what's that? Huh? Yeah. Move on. That's all we got. They laughed at it and moved on. And I was like, huge thread, Old Testament, New Testament.
Want to get into it.
Yeah. Anyway,
we only have 22 minutes for this sermon on Sunday morning, guys. You can't get into the Nephilim. Okay, we got to give an update on our robot lawyer.
Oh yes, real quick.
I think we'll save Pharmakia for next episode.
Yeah, maybe a little too long here. Yeah.
Look at that. We take a break and we can't stay on task anymore. This is coming from CBSNews.com. Headline: AI-powered robot lawyer won't argue in court after jail threats. What happened?
Wait, jail threats?
Yeah, jail threats.
You're going to jail the AI robot? What's going on?
Yes, we've been following the AI robot that was going to be put to use in court to defend a guy against a speeding ticket. They came so close, yet so far away. A robot lawyer powered by artificial intelligence was set to be the first of its kind to help a defendant fight a traffic ticket in court next month. But the experiment has been scrapped after state bar prosecutors threatened the man behind the company that created the chatbot with prison time.
What?
They are a little spooked over there at the state bar prosecutor's office.
Yeah.
Joshua Browder, CEO of Do Not Pay, on Wednesday tweeted that his company is postponing our court case and sticking to consumer rights. Good morning. Bad news. This is his tweet. After threats from the state bar prosecutors, it seems likely they will put me in jail for 6 months if I follow through with bringing a robot lawyer into a physical courtroom. Do Not Pay is postponing our court case and sticking to consumer rights. Browder also said he will not be sending the company's robot lawyer to court. The AI creation, which runs on a smartphone, listens to court arguments and formulates responses for the defendant. Was designed to tell the defendant what to say in real time through headphones. But according to Browder, the prospect for bringing the first robot lawyer into the courtroom wasn't worth the risk of spending 6 months in jail.
Come on,
coward.
bro. Come on, Browder.
Coward,
do you believe in your AI creation or not?
Stand by your convictions, you coward. Go to jail for your robot son.
Come on, man. This guy does not have enough conviction for sure.
Can't believe it.
This is really disappointing.
I mean, 6 months is nothing. I mean, who hasn't done 6 months in the pokey? You know? Why? If for creating a lawyer that will revolutionize the court system and make you a gajillion dollars, he would basically just he would be paid $100 bajillion to spend 6 months in jail. I think he's afraid of getting Epsteined is what it is. I mean, you really think about it. If he really did hold the keys to completely destroy the human-led court system, you know, lawyers and all that stuff, it's not the chances of him getting shivved in the shower in jail on day one just by, you know, somebody paying somebody to do that, some secret dark council of lawyers, you know, paying giving a bag of Doritos to Bubba to do a job for him. That is a non-zero chance, and I think he knows that. Backlash from lawyers against Browder's proposed stunt suggests that those in the legal profession have concerns over AI-powered chatbots or supering new jobs. Oh, so the lawyers will protect their own jobs by
what's
literally...
New? What's new?
I love this. The lawyers are literally threatening to throw this guy in jail for threatening their jobs with a robot. And it's probably, I would guess, the same lawyers who are, helping robots take other people's jobs. It just comes with the territory, folks. The AI lawyer was set to take his first case on February 22nd. Browder had announced on Twitter, et cetera, et cetera. We know the story. We've been following the story. So there you go, folks. You're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait.
I wonder what
AI lawyer.
I wonder what would prompt the emergency use authorization of an AI-powered robot in court.
Yeah.
It would have to be a large enough contingency of people saying, hey, there's too many people, poor people or whatever, who can't afford lawyers, and it'll just have to be a movement, like a grassroots movement.
No, you've made yes. You bring up a good point, and we've had this conversation, and we've documented how every single robot that has been put into use that hurts people's jobs has been done with a sort of social justice angle.
Right.
Every single one
vehicle
that sort of legally makes its way through the system, it's always on social justice. And they do actually kind of mention that here. Lawyers, quote, would not support this. The ultimate goal of a robot lawyer, according to Browder, is to democratize legal representation by making it free for those who can't afford it. In some cases, eliminating the need for pricey attorneys, quote. And then you don't need to quote. You get the point. So that's what it will take. It can't be a speeding ticket. You know, he was kind of trying for a low stakes thing.
Stakes are too low.
And that's what it is.
It needs to be like racism. It needs to be police brutality or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It needs to be a police brutality case where the person suing the cops or whatever doesn't have, it needs to be a moment where it's like, oh, he was beaten by the cops. Or she, probably better if it's she, and she's got to be pregnant, but maybe not pregnant, or maybe I don't know. You got to figure it out, or a trans person, something like that, something very sort of hot right now, and they need to suffer at the hands of police and not have the money to be able to afford to sue the police. And then it'll turn into a march, and the march will turn into 2 marches. Well, and then somebody will be allowed to go in, I can't afford a lawyer, and so I'm bringing in my robot lawyer. Yeah. And if you say no, you're a imperialist bigot or something.
Well, especially because the conservative wave that's happening. We not to bring up politics per se, but the Trump and DeSantis are both talking about like banning trans education and all that kind of stuff. If they start doing that and making it law, then the people become truly marginalized in a sense. And they won't even have the ability to do any kind of crowdsourcing, because no one's going to support them. No one wants to support the trans.
Well, see, and that's why we haven't seen it. Right. We haven't seen it happen because social justice is $1 billion business. Yeah. And how are the social justice activists going to buy their mansions, their 4 mansions, if they don't need any money to pay for lawyers? I mean, that's what most of that, money raising is sort of done under the auspices of, hey, we got to pay legal fees. Legal fees are expensive. We need $1 million to fight this case. Right. Well, if you can just get a free robot to do it, then we're not giving you our money. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. We should put the guy out, the robot lawyer guy in jail. Quick, get him. Lawyers. All right. With that, we have some very talented producers that we're going to need to thank, or else, Gons.
Break. This is a break. Don't just consume the content, but become the content. Become the content. Take a break. It's our break where we thank our producers who come in with their talent. We already thanked our producers who came in with their treasure. We like to help, or we like to help. We have a community here of producers who really contributes. Huh?
Rusty.
Yeah, Rusty for sure. Yes, Rusty. Contribute to the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk. And we'd like to highlight those folks because really all the t-shirt stuff that we have and really a lot of the imagery, the stickers, the street team posters, it's all done by producers. And without them, there is truly no culture here that's being preserved. So in that sense, we're going to start off actually with some speak pipe to start off.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
Go to canarycrynewstalk.com. Look for a green tab on the right side or the bottom. Click on it. It'll give you a little window to record a message of up to 1 minute and 30 seconds, and it'll allow us to either play it or not. And we have a couple messages here. What happened to them? I thought I had them ready to go, and they disappeared on me. Oh, no, I know what happened. Okay, yeah, we've got a new folder system over here, so some of the stuff is in different places than I expect. Okay, we got a couple messages to catch up from Rochelle. So let me make sure I'm getting these in order. This is the first one from Rochelle.
Happy Friday, Canary Cry News Talk. So don't worry, no song today. You don't have to press that mute button. But I am thinking about a meetup here in Central Florida. Oh, wait, now I'm thinking of Katy Perry and California Girls. Central Florida Girls. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, anyway, I have to let you know I am a terrible planner. For example, when my son was little, my plans were great. Like we did this Pokemon cake party and he got his first video game, but looking back on that, he was 10 years old and that was a huge mistake. But my best was this scavenger hunt. Okay, boys love that stuff. But other than those early years, I am a failure. I won't even tell you about the roach-infested fish cabin I got for his 18th birthday. Anyway, I was thinking about March. Great weather here in Florida. I don't care, East Coast, West Coast. Email me. It's my name, RochelleSchmutz@gmail.com. Let me know your thoughts. And stay strong for Jesus. Basil Gons, feel free to spell out my name.
Okay, yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know how to spell that name.
I think she's somewhat spelled it. I think she has part of that in the next message here too, because this is a two-parter.
Okay.
So let's see what she says here.
Hi, guys. So I have an open address to the satanic global elite.
Oh.
So I wouldn't play this unless you've turned YouTube off. Anyway.
No problem.
So, to the satanic global elite, you know who you are. You are the ones who control Hollywood, the media, banks, stock market, healthcare, or death care, really. Education, food, water, transportation, everything. Energy. Well, we, the people, or me, a people, say no. We say no to your proposal. We don't want to be forced to eat bugs, drink fluoride, drive electric power-sucking pieces of crap.
Ooh.
No, we don't want pedophiles grooming our children at school. We don't want greedy doctors willing to inject the public with a bioweapon that was controlled by our own government, unleashed on the world at warp speed by a Trump in sheep's clothing. No, we don't want the mainstream legacy media lying to us and taking money from blood-sucking big pharma. We say no to your mass-culling, asset domination, carbon control, green city agenda. We declare and decree the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to be the true creator. Stay strong for Jesus.
Amen. All right.
Wow,
Passionate rant.
Tell you that the Central Florida meetup is going to be a real hoot, folks.
Oh yeah, sounds like a good time.
we gotta get that. Gotta get that thing. Did you find out how to spell Rochelle's last name?
No, I did not. But you can rewind. I think she said it in the message. That first
just kind of how you'd think. SCHMUTZ. She gave it to you on the last message there. Rochelle, RACHELLE, Schmutz, SCHMUTZ @gmail.com.
There you go.
Do not abuse the fact that a very nice lady has given out her email, folks.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much, Rochelle. Appreciate the message and good hearing from you. And yeah, we'll
Indeed.
Put together something to promote that meetup in March.
Got to give the deets. We got to give the details, maybe to Sir Duff. Yeah. So give us some details. We'll put it out there.
Sounds good. Okay, we got another one from James M.
Do we take God's creation for granted? The subtle things that we really don't think about? I was sitting outside once and this wind blew over me. Very calming, soothing, actually. But yet wind can be strong and powerful and can destroy things. Wow. It's invisible, but yet it can destroy things, but it doesn't have mass? How? God's creation, right? And then that brought me to think about fire. I don't know why. You make a fire in a fire pit, a beautiful flame comes up, kind of see through it, it's translucent, but yet you put your hand through it, it burns, it's hot, but yet fire can be calming, a warming, but yet it can destroy things. God's creation is amazing. He created that, right? Think about it. Just think about the little things that are amazing. They're not little. They are amazing if you really think about it and dive into it. Just wind, fire. They can be good things, but they can also be destructive. God is amazing, and His creation is amazing. Just think about that. Peace.
Well, thank you, James M.
Good thing to think about. I'll tell you what. Thank you very much.
I feel like
James.
I'm at a bonfire. Staring.
This is what it would be if there's like a Canary Cry summer camp.
Yeah. Yeah, a little roasting some marshmallows, having conversations about wind and God and creation. Thank you very much, James M. Okay, and that is it for the SpeakPipe messages for today. We do have some audio production to highlight here.
Audio production. Productions.
We got a series from Jonathan F.
Jonathan F.
And there's a note accompanying each piece here, and let me get them in order. And the first one says, hello guys, just thought you need a proper laser jingle.
Lasers.
Oh yeah.
We did need a proper laser jingle.
That's a good laser jingle. He also got you guys the executive champ streak that you guys were talking about last episode. Hopefully this goes well with the belt prize they might receive. Where did it go? Yep.
That
cool.
is very good.
Yeah, it would go well with the belt.
Thank you, Jonathan. Answering the call. I love it.
Yep, absolutely. And then a few days later, he gave us another one. Hello, just some more weekly political gaffes and ineptitude. Enjoy this hi-fi 8-bit sound. God bless.
No president added more to the debt in 4 years than my president. I spent 25% of our country's entire debt. And I ship in air defense systems, all to help counter Ukraine's brutal aggression that's happening because of Russia.
Should Americans see that as a sign of a harsh reality that this war is nowhere near from over?
I think we need to prepare ourselves to continue to support Ukraine for quite some time.
Very good. There was a couple Biden gaffes. I think yesterday he was talking about half the women are not women or something. He was going off about some gender equality thing for his cabinet, and it just didn't come out right.
Luckily avoided watching him speak in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Well, there's also the Kamala Harris explaining space travel. That one was good. Yeah, these politicians, man, they're really. I mean, if Kamala becomes president, I gotta say, I think the entertainment factor would go through the roof. But anyway, thank you very much, Jonathan F., for the audio production there. Let's get to some art.
One art, please.
Going to start off with Sir Dove, Knight of Respeltia.
One art, please, from Dove.
And he has a note to accompany this. It says, peace, for today's artwork, I made a sticker design for the Nano Goons from a couple weeks back. Figured I'd draw a couple menacing Cas9 proteins ready to cut something. Don't try them. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins.
This is great. Thank you, Sir Dove. Yes, the Nano Goons, it needed to happen. We've got a background of sort of a dark black background with some glowing blue DNA strands going through. We've got Nano Goons up there at the top. And we've got two, you guessed it, Nano Goons, kind of squishy looking, I don't know, germ looking guys, looking very nasty, thuggish, got some switchblades. One of them is saying here, that's a nice strand you got there. It'd be a shame if someone crisped it. Down at the bottom, canarycry.party. Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
Thanks,
excellently done. We got to send some more of these stickers over to the printer for the next supply drop going out.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. This one,
for the man.
This one I would wear like a t-shirt for sure. If it ever becomes a t-shirt, it's something that I would do. All right. Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
Nano Goons?
Yeah.
Nano Goon t-shirt, baby.
Imagine the conversation you can start with the nanogoons.
Oh, trust me. Yes. All Canary Cry News Talk t-shirts from the Canary Cry News Talk t-shirt council will be conversation starters. That we promise you.
Yep. All right. We also got something from Buddy H. And Buddy H, actually, hold on. Let me pull it up for those of you watching. And I got to fit it in here. And it's there's a note accompanying it that says... Uh-oh, where's the note? What happened to my note? Oh, here we go. I'm a longtime listener and producer. My family really likes your show. My talented son drew this picture for you guys. Blessings, brothers, in Jesus' name.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. Yeah, this is fun. Sorry, I had it, and I was just getting irritated that you didn't have your tabs in order, and my tabs aren't in order. There we go. Thank you very much. This is cute. This is fun. We've got a giant angry canary flying down, swooping down towards a Gons who is holding a katana, who looks like he was about to fight the giant canary. But his best buddy Basil came running in, threw him over his shoulder, and is saving his life. So you're very welcome, Gons. And it's very cute. It's kind of like a little bit of a chibi style,
Yeah,
kind of a mix of a chibi and maybe more of an Americanized chibi style, but very good, very fun, very cute. And we've got the text there in the old copper plate Gothic bold of the old days, Canary Cry News Talk. Thank you very much, Buddy.
Yeah, Buddy H's son.
Well, I was thinking maybe Buddy H is the name of the son.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
But the dad typed it out or something like that.
All right.
Either way, we're still very impressed.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, we also have one more art piece from Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes.
You know what? You missed one. I can tell you right now you missed one, but it's okay. Yeah, we got one from Mark A. Also.
Do I have the Mark A one in my thing?
Yeah.
I must have missed it.
It's
Okay, well,
let's do Salmons, and then we can grab Mark A.
Okay, so Sir Salmon's here has a note. It's Friday, my dudes. Hope everything is doing well, and the Shimura clan is recovering from the dreaded Rona. Thursday was the anniversary of Basil's abduction to the metaverse, which happened 2 times. Oh, yeah, I remember that. You got sucked into the metaverse. The first by Homer Simpson, and the second, he was translated into the Titanic. So I have combined the 2 abductions into one piece, where our intrepid metaverse traveler suddenly finds himself in the embrace of Homer Simpson at the prow of the Titanic, after the style of the movie. Good luck unseeing this. Hope you enjoy. Many blessings from the fishes. Oh, man,
I'm assuming this is on the Canary Cry calendar is how he remembered this date. I have to assume that's the case.
I would think so,
yeah. And for those who might be newer to the show or missed that episode, I do every show in a VR headset here. And yeah, one day, for some reason, it kept out of nowhere. It's like I was getting hacked or something. I never did figure it out. It kept teleporting me away from my sort of desktop where I do the show and teleporting me into different rooms with other VR people. One of them was I was kidnapped by a giant Homer Simpson head, just a floating Homer Simpson head. And I was in this very strange room. And the other one, I got transported to the Titanic. And here we have what is possibly if not the most, one of the most incredible callbacks to a deep cut inside joke that happened once on an episode but was so disturbing. And I cannot believe that I'm being sort of emotionally transported back to the trauma of that event. And it's the scene on the Titanic with, I'm on top of the world. There's the front of the boat. There's me, my headset, my googly eyes, my arms outstretched with the virtual reality controller. And I'm looking very nervous because behind me, it is not Jack. It is not Leonardo DiCaprio, heartthrob of the early 2000s. It is a giant Homer Simpson. And he is lovingly holding me around the waist with his eyes closed. And it is a very sweet moment for somebody. But I've got a very nervous look on my face. And that is how it felt. It felt like a little bit of a vulnerable situation.
I like the sweat bead. It's kind of...
Yes, the nervous sweat bead down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Got metaverse in the font of the Titanic movie with some of the Titanic frill there, some decoration. Really, this was one of the funniest things that has ever been made in response to this show. Thank you very much, Sir Sammons.
Thank you, Sir
You're a
Sammons.
true talent.
Appreciate it. And that brings us to Mark A. Mark A has a piece here, and I believe the original note said that he'd like to dedicate this to Dr. Mike Heiser.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can do that.
It is titled...
I know there was a...
What are you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, I know there's a couple of versions.
This is the updated version. I got the note from the original and the art from the latest, so hopefully that is doing the job. It's called Unseen Realms, the Screw Tape Meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want to go through this?
Do you have more note? Is that the note?
That's it. I mean, yeah, it's pretty much it.
Yeah. So we've got a 4-panel comic strip here. It says up at the top, Unseen Realms, the Screw Tape Meetings. First cell, you've got the throne of God with the rainbows and the azul, the water surrounding it, the streets of gold. You've got angels flying around. From the throne comes a voice. Have you considered my servants Basil and Gons, how they fear me and do what is right and expose evil plans? And the devil responds, Basil and Gons, eh? The next cell shows a scene, conference room 33. It's down in hell, obviously. We've got lots of scary things, dark, fire, rocks. All hands meeting, strategies against Basil and Gons. They're having a meeting about us, Gons.
Oh, boy.
I have a feeling that there's a lot of meetings about us. Inside the conference room here in the next cell, we've got the devil up at the whiteboard. He's got Gons written on one side of the board, Basil written on the other side of the board. He says, okay, this is all really great stuff, guys. And he's pointing to all the plans that they have for Gons here. Give bad news about friend, dog puke in bed, daughter sick, no pho. Spread sickness to rest of family, dad joke writer's block, take his voice. On the Basil side, there's nothing. But intrepid young demon sitting in a blue plastic chair in the audience says, what about Basil? And the next cell here, Satan, he puts his hand on his chin. He looks up to the ceiling. He says, oh, yeah, I forgot about him. Well, he's already kind of a loner weirdo. Plus, we already ruined his Burning Man trip. I'll tell you what, somebody go load his car up with a bunch of wet hay. Yeah, that should be good. And you know what? This is about as good of an explanation as I could possibly imagine, Mark A. I think you may have nailed it. The wet hay smell in my car was a demonic attack.
It was conjured in room 33 in the pits of hell.
Conjured in conference room 33 in hell. And I'm just happy that the Lord trusts me enough to handle such a hardship. Very well done. Thank you, Mark A.
Yeah, thank you, Mark A. Appreciate it, and we appreciate all who come in with their artwork. It's very nice. We do have a couple microfictions, so we will do that.
Microfiction. Microfiction.
And this first one is by Rung Smash. Go, go, go.
The duo of heroines still braced for the sting. Here's a deep booming bellow of "Run me, hearties!" They look up to see the captain shouldering his KS-3K, his red beard gleaming in the sun. He's taken the heat for them, but they must be fast and quiet. Sir Captain Redbeard, Pirate King of the Demoochers, to the rescue. Thank you very much, Runk Smash.
Good. Yep. Thank you very much. We also have one from Stephen S.
Victor Borgnine, in his heavy Russian accent, presents his new weapon system to the generals of Fredonia. Beautiful women with surgically embedded mechanical wings mesmerize the enemy like angels from heaven. They open fire.
I could see that.
My taking such a break, my Russian accent is really suffering this episode. Just can't click into it. I haven't been able to click in. I'm trying my best. Thank you very much, Stephen S.
Thank you, Stephen S. And thank you to all the producers who came in with their talent. Really does help build the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk.
Indeed. Let us be. And if you're a creative person, if you're a writer or a musician or a fushigi juggler or a painter, whatever you do, create some art for the show. Become the content. Don't just consume the content. Go to canarycry.art. It's a URL. Canarycry.art. You can fill out the form, upload the art, get it on the show. It's a very valuable service you give to us and a great way to give back to a show that doesn't take any corporate money for brainwashing you to buy products. And it's very helpful. Thank you very much. Canarycry.art. All right.
So a new discovery. Antarctica.
Penguins.
It's cold, Basil. It's cold. Antarctica, go first. It's a snowstorm. Antarctica. Ice scientists are penguins. Antarctica, they're opening the abyss.
All right, Gons. I found this fascinating. We've been reporting on Antarctica for years now. Part of that is the new and improved, vigorous industry of Antarctican tourism, which we've seen. Lots of messaging there. A lot of new opportunities to see the world in ways that you wouldn't have been able to. This came across my desk, and I just thought it was interesting. ABC7.com. Coast Guard probes deaths of U.S. citizens in Antarctic. Okay.
See?
Deaths of U.S. citizens. They need to be probed. Let's find out. The U.S. Coast Guard, USCG, said it's investigating several deaths and injuries of U.S. citizens that took place on passenger vessels recently traveling in Antarctic waters. The Coast Guard, the National Transportation Safety Board, and other agencies from around the world are deploying teams to Ushuaia, Argentina, to investigate 4 instances that took place between November 15th and December 1st, 2022, the agency said. I thought it was interesting. Other agencies from around the world. So not just U.S. Coast Guard or National Transportation Safety Board, but an Interpol situation, an international crack team of agencies investigating these deaths. Quote, our deepest sympathies go out to the families of those impacted by these tragedies. Captain Gretchen Bailey, the Coast Guard Activities Europe commanding officer, said in a statement, quote, we are proud to work alongside the NTSB and our international partners to investigate these incidents and make meaningful safety improvements for worldwide passenger vessel operations, especially in unique high-risk environments like Antarctica. Unique. It's a unique high-risk environment. In one incident, 2 citizens died when an inflatable boat from the Portuguese-flagged passenger vessel World Explorer capsized with 6 passengers aboard near Elephant Island, Antarctica, the USCG said. A U.S. citizen was injured when an inflatable boat from the Norwegian-flagged passenger vessel Viking Polaris sustained a keel bladder failure near Des Moines Point, Antarctica, according to the USCG. Now, we reported, at least on the Viking Polaris.
Yeah.
We've been keeping an eye on Viking for quite some time now, one of the leading Antarctic, tourism boat companies. And it goes on here. 1 U.S. citizen died and 4 others were injured in a third incident when the Viking Polaris had 2 accidents, was struck by a large wave in the Drake Passage while transitioning to Ushuaia, Argentina. We remember this one, the rogue wave that blasted the windows out of the side of the boat.
I was pretty skeptical at the time.
And I don't remember there being a death in that one.
Oh, yeah. There was a death.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and look because I thought that there was... anyways, 1 death. Okay. The USCG confirmed passengers on board the ship described choppy conditions leading up to the incident, with officials said was caused by a rogue wave. A U.S. citizen died from an injury sustained aboard the Netherlands-flagged passenger vessel Plankius in a 4th incident. The U.S. Coast Guard said, well, that's weird. They just say the U.S. Coast Guard. I'm assuming they said the U.S. Coast Guard. So anyways, we've got a rash of deaths, a serial murderer ocean.
It's the penguins.
It's the penguins.
They are seeking revenge on man.
It's very dangerous. And these are big professional vessels. And even these vessels, the Viking Polaris, to have 2 incidences within like a year, with people dying from rogue waves and capsizing vessels and blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's just weird. You don't see that very often. You almost never see it. And suddenly it's happening like all the time down in Antarctica.
I think they're harvesting bodies.
I was thinking, maybe a UFO type of situation. I was thinking maybe, there's Antarctica's fighting back, if not the Antarctic Nazis or the penguins or something. Somebody, this is a Scooby-Doo episode if you've ever seen one. Passenger boats. Yeah, passenger boats going down to the exotic lands, murders, boat murders happening. I don't know if we can call drowning a boat murder, but maybe, who knows? That's why they're investigating. And to have like a bunch of international agencies going down there, I don't think we've heard the end of this.
Not at all.
Well, yeah, here's the problem. I think we might hear the end of it. To get any more detail on this investigation, we're going to need to make like FOIA requests.
Hey, you know what? Maybe we have a calling.
To investigate the investigators?
Yes.
Who watches the Watchers, Antarctica edition.
Start making FOIA requests on what really happened.
What really happened.
You know what, though? One of the stories we've been covering is the attempt for the CCP to establish military presence in Ushuaia.
Exactly.
Right? So what if that's the next move? It's China is killing our scientists exploring the Great White Desert.
Well, you got China that is putting a naval base in Argentina in order to better, quote, protect or perhaps invade the Antarctic continent.
Right.
They don't even have any claims down there. And they're putting a naval base in the closest gateway city.
Yeah.
And maybe they're just sick and tired of all these United States, or I guess not United, just all of these Western cruise ships going down, filling up it's hard to execute some like secret, black budget CCP base building missions, resource extraction, meteorite harvesting operations when there's all these dang tourists in their cruise ships. I'm thinking we might need to investigate, Gons. We might need to go down there ourselves and figure things out.
That is the fear, I will say.
That's the Scooby-Doo episode. The Scooby-Doo episode is, there's been so many spooky things happening down at the down at the theme park. There's a ghost at the theme park who's scaring everybody away. In this case, the ghost is a rogue wave machine. And that the
Xi Jinping
Chinese,
in a submarine creating rogue waves.
Oh, they're using some sort of directed energy weapon to create rogue waves and, one by one, pick off these pesky tourism vessels.
I knew that story was off. The waves, the rogue wave. Come on.
Exactly. And that's why they want to put their naval base so they can help protect people. And no, we're just here to help. And then, boom, at the end of the show, we're going to pull off the mask of the rogue waves. It's going to be Xi Jinping.
It's going to be a balloon, and then you pull the balloon off, and then Xi Jinping.
The balloon, I know. And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids. Meddling kids are us.
We joke, but it is interesting. It is
There's something going on,
interesting development. Because, they've the trend has been, come to Antarctica. Everyone wants to go tour Antarctica. Come on down. And then now it's like, there's a bunch of people dying, and we're looking into it. Not good PR to get people down there. Or maybe they're trying to get a certain type of people down there, Maybe we're the bait.
That's interesting.
Maybe they're trying to get us down there.
Yeah, that's possible. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just putting it on record because I guarantee something will happen. And we'll end another show here in the next couple months with, I told you we randomly brought that story about all the agencies going down to study the deaths and
Chinese wave machine.
And it'll all make sense. I'm just saying, I've been doing this for 11 years now, and I know sometimes you got to put something on record and then just wait for the payoff.
I think
that's
Drake,
what we're doing with this.
I think Drake should make a music video on the Drake passage, and then something happens to Drake.
And then it starts World War III.
World War III. There's all kinds of options for the elite to pull off the World War III thing. Attack on our beloved Drake would be one of them.
Yeah, national treasure. Drake. National Canadian treasure. He's not even American. He's Canadian.
Hey.
Well, a lot of our famous Hollywood Americans are all Canadians. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe the Canadians, it's all a Canadian plot.
Well, Trudeau, man, nobody trusts Trudeau, so.
All right, we got to get out of here. This has been a long show.
Yeah, well, we had to catch up.
It's been a while since we've almost gone 4 hours, so it's our comeback show. Everybody deserved it, but we are running out of juice here.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And here's the thing. We got a lot of producers who make this show happen, the executive producers, the producers coming in with their talent, their treasure, their time. We've got a lot of people to thank, and we're going to thank them. But I promised earlier on that there will be one more VIP segment for those who sign up for the Canary Cry T-Shirt Council. And we have one new VIP going down in history as, on the list of people who they saw an opportunity and they took it. And that's why we want to celebrate the one, the only, Malik W. for signing up. That's right.
There he
He's
is.
here. What's up, Malik? Thank you very much. You know what Malik did? He saw an opportunity and he took it. He went on over to canarycry.party. He saw the button, joined the Canary Cry News Talk T-Shirt Council, and now he has been given a seat at the table, and he'll start receiving T-shirts once per quarter. Thank you very much, Malik, and we encourage everybody, if you've been looking for some quality threads to rep your favorite podcast, maybe it's the only podcast. I don't know. I don't even know if anybody else is making podcasts anymore. This might be the last podcast in the world. So all the better reason to keep it going. So thank you very much, Malik W., for joining the team. Everybody else, go to canarycrynewstalk.com/t-shirt to join. But we also have producers who make this show happen with their time, and we're going to thank them now, starting with our Clippies.
Clipping all those videos. Thanks.
Thank you to the Clippies. They clip the show. They make the show available. We are almost about to get the Clip channel unbanned. So go subscribe to Canary Cry Clips on YouTube. And there's some big plans. Keep an eye out. Big plans. Faye Liverin and Emsworth, our producers, have for us. So thank you very much, you two. Thank you. And thank you to our timestampers.
Timestamp. It's hard work. Timestamp.
They timestamp. They are timestampers. It is who they are, what they do, and also where they're from. Timestamp Jamaica.
Timestampia.
And I want to thank Jade Bouncerson for doing the timestamps of episode 585. Thank you very much, JB. Thank you to our social media gal.
The social media consultant.
Thanks so much.
Social media. Follow us.
Dame Miss G, the OV in the Deep Rivers, making sure the art gets up on the social media. We appreciate it very much, very much. Dame Miss G, thank you. Go to canarycrymeetups.com.
Canary Cry Meetups.
Someday soon, we'll start putting the meetups up there. We got, oh my goodness. When did Mr. Jag say that the Germany meetup was going to be?
I don't remember. We gotta catch up on all that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
It might have been February.
No, I think it is February. And I'm thinking it was February 4th, which would make it tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. See, this is what happens when we take 9 days off.
Oh yeah, he did say February 4th. That is tomorrow.
Do you have that up?
No.
Wait, do we know for sure it's February 4th?
Yeah, I'm looking at the thing right now.
Okay. If you're in the EU, there was somebody from Hungary in the chat earlier. Maybe that was Mr. Jack. I don't know. But we got a meetup. We got a meetup going on in Germany, and I cannot find the email. Do you have the email?
I do. It says Passau, Germany on the 4th at the Cafe Bar, Schustergasse 7 94032, Passau at 11 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we
totally drop the ball on this?
We failed Mr. Jag here. So
we failed this so miserably.
Yeah.
I apologize, Mr. Jag. I blame it on Gons, though, because he got the Rona. Yeah. So it is his fault. Yeah. But
somehow maybe let us know, Mr. Jag.
Looking at it now, February 4th. Man, we really blew that one. Yeah, well, hopefully EU people are listening right now. Passau, Germany, on the 4th of February, 2023, at the Cafe Bar, Schustergasse 7, 94032, Passau, at 11 a.m. Man, I feel bad about this one. Contact Mr. Jag 365, MRJAG 365 at citromail.hu, citromail.hu.
Put it in the chat just so it's there. But,
okay, good.
Yeah, hopefully.
Nuts. Well, hopefully, I know we have some listeners in Germany. We got listeners sort of spread out all throughout Europe. So there you go. Apologies, Mr. Jag. And if anybody out there can make it to this, go to it. It'll make us feel better about totally blowing it. Let's see. We had Rochelle talking about a Florida meetup. We will put that when we get more details. Yep. There you go. Go to canarycrymeetups.com, folks. And if there's no meetup near you, put one on. Just tell us, email us. Let us know that there is one. You're just pick a time, pick a place. We'll put it on the website. We need to put something on that website that automatically generates so people can just put their own stuff on there.
True. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get the webmasters on that.
Yep.
Reviews.
See you at the meetup.
Reviews. Go leave reviews. Apple Podcasts, that's the place for reviews. They're very important to us. They make us feel good. They make other people feel good. And they help the algorithms. So, just go do it. People haven't been doing it, really. You need to do it.
We got some people coming in.
You're right. I'm looking at it now. We had a few people come in during the break. Thank you very much for that, but we need more. More. We can never have enough ratings and reviews. It's very good. There are thousands of you who have not left a rating and a review. Please do it. Apple Podcasts. Most of you are on Apple Podcasts now. You can be sort of like Onesimos on Apple Podcasts from Sweden.
Hey.
Hello, Sweden. Sweden says 5 stars. This is awesome. The entire podcast is great, especially as it was done in the back of a limousine and was easy to understand. So I'm very impressed with every single one of the members. Very happy I got to see it all. I'm going to say that I've issues with this podcast over and over again, but I won't spend much of any time complaining about it. /chatty. I am real and happy. Well, there you go, folks.
I don't know what to make of that.
I am real and happy. That's all I needed to know. I didn't really understand anything. I'm thinking maybe there's some Swedish humor going on here.
Maybe, yeah.
I can sense some Swedish. I can sense some humor. I just don't fully understand it, and I'm going to chalk that up to cultural differences. If you want to really showcase the sort of unique humor of your country, go leave us a rating and a review like Onesimos did, who is definitely real and definitely happy. Go let us know. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Janae G. Thank you, Janae G. From the United States of America. Your eyes will be opened. All caps. 5 stars. Love, love, love these guys. Are you tired of mainstream media lying to you? Do you feel like the world is acting more and more insane? Do you wish there were an outlet that could tell you about important and critical issues that are actually going on locally and around the world without corporate money factoring into it? Listen to these good boys. That's right. Listen to these good boys. Thank you, Janae.
Thank you, Janae.
5 stars to Janae's review. Here's another one from Purcell. Purcell from the United States. 5 stars. They're good boys. That's the beginning of it. They're good boys. And it goes on like this. Because Basil told me to. I must have told people to put that. I don't remember. Because Basil told me to. I'll be back to update after further review. Really enjoy the personalities of both Basil and Gons, and their content is A+. #value for value.
Thank you, Purcell Overlord.
Purcell Overlord, who is definitely real and happy. Let's see here. I think that's it. I think I read the other one, didn't I? What day was the 22nd? That would have been a Sunday, which means I would not have read it. I'm going to read it now. This comes from Fuego Stomper. There's Fuego Stomper, United States. 5 stars. Awake, oh woke minion. There are not many podcasts that give an audience nonpartisan meat to chew. The boys look at MSM with an objective eye and a sharp sense of humor. Canary Cry News cuts away at the gristle and fat, brings out the facts that are so lacking in today's podcast world. Good job, guys. Thank you very much, Fuego Stomper.
Thank you, Fuego.
Look, that could be you, folks. Go to Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and review. It's very helpful to us, and it makes us very sad when we don't get them. We're shooting. I think
there's
3
a couple
is good.
more here that you're not seeing these from Bellicus and Lorney.
You're always looking at something else, Gonzo.
Yeah, the actual Apple Podcasts review page, yeah.
Right, and I'm looking at our aggregator thing. What are the dates on the ones you were talking about?
January 30th and January 31st.
Oh, yeah, those would not have populated yet.
Ah, okay.
Why don't you read them?
Yeah, sure. Okay, this one's from Bellicus. Podcast Gold. These guys are revolutionary. Proud supporter. Keep making the best content available. Listen and be ready to have your cage rattled. AI wrote that for me, and it ain't lying. LOL, love these guys.
Cool. That's cool.
There you go.
Yeah,
see?
everybody go get AI to write a review.
Yeah, well, yeah,
it's good.
That's harmless. And then we also from Lorney. Great podcast. This is the most valuable podcast I have ever listened to. I highly recommend it if you want to make sense of current events. The Sentinel's Friend. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you to all the ratings and reviewers. That's 5. That's 5 since last episode. That's very good.
Yeah.
We've been shooting for 5 per week, but we'll just say the last week was 10 days. Yeah. So let's do it. Let's leave more ratings and reviews. Thank you very much. Come on now. It's try to outdo one another. Let's make this a thing. Let's make this a contest. A competition. I want a little blood. I want a little blood in the water.
Whoa, hey.
Little blood in the water in the review
only
section.
Pure bloods though. We only mess with pure blood.
You can't say that.
Oh,
what are you talking about?
Oh, I don't know. I thought
we want a little blood.
Okay.
Let's make it like a gladiatorial type of situation.
Okay.
All right. But make it fun. No bummers. Let's do this. Right. Thank you very much. Ratings and reviews, Apple Podcasts. Okay. Other than that, thank you to Jam for the links. Thank you to Clank for the personal assistance. And share the show. Share it with your friends and your family. It's really important that the share just gets showed. You heard me right. And there's a lot of ways to do that. Posting on your social media is very important. Mailing it in a mailer is also very important. Playing it while your spouse sleeps is also very important. Putting it into a gun and shooting it into the air is also important, especially on like a 4th of July type of situation where random explosions going off in the middle of the night. It's not necessarily investigated like it is the rest of the year. Or let's see here. Go to Antarctica. That's not related. Just go check it out. I already did a thing. I already did all the things that we did. I did an AI one. You know what? If you're a clergy person, if you're a pastor or run a Bible study, just tell it from the mountain. Tell it on the pulpit. I'm not saying you need to like add any sort of special revelation or ethics or morals to listening to the show. I'm just saying mention it. Just mention it from the pulpit, people trust you. People look to you for quality news deconstruction and analysis, and you're just getting all your stuff from us anyways. So why don't you tell some people about it? Other than that, we like to call it rattling cages. Go ahead and do that. It's been a while. A little rusty.
Right up
a little
to
rusty.
People.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're all a little rusty around here. We call it rattling cages. If you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to them, grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages.
Hey, stop that!
You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy.
Leave the bird alone!
Never! Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Guns, do you have any last words?
Yeah, when you wake up tomorrow on a Saturday, wake up, stretch, yawn, and say, hey, thank you, Mark Zuckerberg, for creating Facebook in your dorm room that day. And then on Sunday, you can wake up, yawn, stretch, and say, thank you, Susan, for becoming the censorship executive officer of YouTube in 2014. 8 years at the helm. I think we need to replace Susan.
These are all very important dates to remember for all sorts of reasons. I can tell you, we still have a couple of Canary Cry calendars that, like, if you sign up for the supply drop this right now, you will get one. Very cool. All right. Well, my brain is fried. My brain is broken. So we're going to end this show, and you're going to like it. But we will be back on Monday. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's been Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
We're all going to die.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
This is not about freedom or personal choice.
Armageddon's on the way.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
cosmos, children in the space lane.
I'm an adult in a spaceship.
Supersonic space lane screamed to life and the vehicle swooped upward. On board, the passengers experienced a 3 G's of force and the burst of extreme acceleration and watched the blue sky fade into space.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Oh, yeah.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Yes. Do it, Richard. Do it, Jeff. Do it for humanity.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship.
He can accomplish it. You can too. Big windows, cool. Rocket ship, cool. Space plane, cool.
Nukes.
Cool.
Blowing stuff up.
Cool. Space plane, astronaut, rocket ship.
ABS anchor.
We have Bezos. He's a human. Just look at him. Go to the bathroom in bags. He can go to the bathroom in the cosmos. It changed everything.
We're all gonna die.
Wives in space, children in the cosmos, with your best friend brother. Wives in the cosmos, children in the space lane.
We are headed to space.
Goodbye, everybody. And that's the end. And everyone says, oh, that was fun.
Bye 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 bye. I'm out of here. Bye.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support